Happy holidays, everybody. This weekend, New Year's Eve, I'll be at Captain Brian's at Marco Island. For everything else, go to BertCast.com. T-shirts, call to the machine.
This is the Bertcast.
All right, we're recording. Jon Heffron, John Moore. I maybe should get less people with the exact same fucking names.
You think?
In the same room. I just did one with the guys who did the documentary, Jeff Johnson and Jeff Hinman. So the whole time I'm like, so Jeff, it's fucking exhausting. Have you seen
Maybe that's your
Heffron's
thing.
Maybe I'll just do dudes with. I'll have like Baltazar. I got really out of my way to find them. This is Heffron's new shirt.
Oh, that's sweet.
Fucking hate you right now.
It's a good looking shirt,
It's
right?
American
This is
Apparel.
what I like about
It's American Apparel. He's not making any money on them. It's American Apparel.
It doesn't matter, but the design is like really cool. Like I could wear that. It's not.
It's
not in your
understated.
yes.
That's why I
It's
did
not-
it. That's why
It's
I did.
like I love Ari's shirt. Ari's shirt is only made for dudes who are single, who smoke weed, and go to MMA. And like I tried wearing his shirt to pick up my girls. I didn't realize that there's a black chick straddling his head naked. Like,
Right.
And so my wife's like, "You're not wearing that for pickup." And I went, "Why? It's Ari's shirt." She goes, "I don't give a shit whose shirt it is. It's got a fucking black chick naked on top of it, straddling his head. He's got ecstasy and acid on his tongue, and it fucking looks like you're tripping." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's a badass shirt." Duncan Trussell's has got a fucking. I always say Trussell's. Duncan Trussell has a great shirt. It's someone drew it of him in purple, and it's white, but the fucking material, man. That's all the material. You know, we're done with the days of dudes with those big, fat, chunky collars, and it's like,
Right.
And it's like, it's like, oh my god, I got the funniest fucking story. Did I tell you this?
No.
I'm shitting on someone, and I apologize. We had a really good weekend. You're a very funny guy. I don't remember what your name is, but I apologize.
All right, here's the.
He's a very cool guy, but I thought this was the funniest fucking thing. So I'm selling my shirts, and he goes, "How much do you make on your shirts?" I go, "Enough to travel with them." And he was like, "Yeah, but it's a lot to carry." I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "You got to think out of the box." I go, "Really?" He goes, "I used to sell hot sauce." I went, "Oh, that's not a bad idea, but you got to be into hot sauce to pick up some dude's random hot sauce." He goes, "Yeah, you go to a site, you plug in all your ingredients, and then you send them a picture. They label it, they pack it, they send it to you, real cheap. Upsell's great." But he goes, "Yeah, I got into the business. It was too much to carry. You ready for it?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm wearing it." I said, "You are?" He goes, "Yeah, wedding rings." I went, "What?" He goes, "Wedding rings, that," and he takes a beer and he pops open a beer with it. It's a wedding ring beer opener. And I went, "Wow." And he goes, "Yeah, man, they're fucking cheap as shit. I got them made in Asia, and I'm going to sell them for like $20. You're going to fucking, I get the first
And they work
shipment in."
awesome for the bars that actually you need an opener for beer still.
Or
Exactly.
any guy who's willing to take his wedding ring off that his wife fucking gave him on the day they got married and put this dude's fucking wedding ring on. I go, "Who the fuck is going to put on a wedding ring?" And he goes, "Lots of guys." I go, no one, not fucking one person is going to go, "Yeah, my wife gave this to me, but yours has a beer opener on it." This
Total redneck stuff right there.
This ring defines our relationship, our cyclicalness of marriage, but yours has a beer opener on it, and it fucking leaves my finger green. And he was like, "Well, probably single dudes then." I go, "What single guy's gonna put a fucking wedding ring on?" I fucking,
Yeah, he needs to think that one through a little bit.
yeah, and I was like, he was like, "Well, let's just find out when I start selling them." So I'm dying to know how his sales are going.
I worked with a guy in wherever I was. I don't remember. He had a bit about a wallet catching on fire. Right? I don't remember. And then he was a guest setter. He goes, "Do you mind if I do a guest set?" I go, "No." He goes, "I just need some gas money to make it home, and I sell stuff after the show. Do you mind if I do a guest set and then sell this stuff?" And I go,
By the way, that's just for the record. Every comic that's listening, that's a little creepy. Do your guest set. Appreciate the guest set. Don't sell merch. You also don't sell merch at the Hollywood Improv or the Comedy Store. Like that's just these are like protocol things. But yes.
Yeah, so I let him.
Yeah. You
Some
got it.
guys,
You got it.
I go, whatever. Yeah, so he gets up. He pulls out a wallet. The wallet catches on fire. Then at the end of his show, he sells these wallets. And the wallet is like a magic wallet that has like a Zippo lighter type thing. That when you open it, the flint hits it, and then the whole wallet catches on fire. That kid sold 12 wallets.
Are you serious?
12, 13 wallets. at $20 a pop doing a 5 to 6 minute set.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so I think what we need to do as comics is they have all these late night infomercials.
Yeah.
We just need to all pool our money together,
do you
put
think-
together an infomercial with a product. Can
Okay.
you imagine
This
you,
actually
Joey
is
Diaz,
not a bad idea.
Ari, we're selling some type of food dehydrator?
Better yet, guys, if you like my act, you're gonna love this food dehydrator that I've got outside.
You just said it and forget it.
What if you
What is great about
do you
product?
think you would have sold a dickload of Snuggies had no one ever seen a Snuggie, but you were like, guys, I love. You had a joke about sitting on the couch, and then you showed that's not a bad fucking idea. Entirely.
It's no different than having a joke and trying to sell a T-shirt that has the do around the. So it's the same thing. If you're willing to do one, or
Yeah.
you just go high end. You go, man, don't you guys really hate the Mercedes or love the Mercedes SLK? I have one for sale. It was $80,000. They gave me one. It's $50,000.
That's not bad if you also
And then
tie
you
in
just
with a loan company and you can get really great loan rates. And you're like, guys, here's the deal,
Here's the
okay?
deal. Listen.
I've got if you go to Mercedes.com and type in Heffron in the coupon code.
Yeah, we're thinking small change. You have to really
Yeah.
kind of think big out of the
Guys,
box.
do you want to refinance your house?
Just do a joke about a 5-bedroom, a 3-bathroom house
Exactly.
in Los Angeles area, and then go, by the way, I'll be signing autographs and taking pictures, and if you'd
you-
like to put a bid on this house,
Yeah.
and you're selling. Think about the T-shirts or wallets or hot sauce you'd have to sell for that one sale.
That would be fucking just one house, and you're just.
We should do an infomercial. That's been a weird dream of mine. Is infomercials. If you see those infomercials on VH1 late at night around 1:30, they're cheap to do. Like in some markets,
Incredibly cheap.
you can get
Seriously?
in for like a couple $1,000s for a half hour on Comedy Central at like 1:30.
Wait, why are we not buying infomercial time and making our own TV show on Comedy Central?
Well, I think it's cheap, but you have to. I mean, it's cheap per one. I don't think you can buy just one.
Just so everyone knows who's talking, this is John Moore. The Southern accent is John Moore. John Moore is a television producer. He produces everything. I won't say what. I probably shouldn't even say your last name, but
Why?
I don't know because your parents don't listen to podcasts, huh?
No.
He's also from the South. Yeah, he's from the South. That's all I'll say. But he produced
and he's
Joe
been
Schmo.
missing for 20 years. That's
Joe
why
Schmo's
it's
your
weird.
show, right?
Yep, Joe
You-
Schmo.
I just saw the advertising for that last night.
January 8th.
Yeah.
January 8th.
Please watch. Please watch.
It's going to be great. John did the first Joe Schmo, and they brought him back to do the second Joe Schmo, and he was under wraps. He couldn't tell anyone. He was like, I'm working on a show. I can't tell you what it is. And then he hired all my fucking friends, and everyone knew a secret that it's the most frustrating
That was
thing in
one
the
of
world.
the most rewarding parts of it.
And so John has also produced everything I've ever been on, and John,
nasally.
and obviously everyone knows Jon Heffron. I'm so bad at fucking hosting a podcast. That's why I like this. Just keep going. What were we talking about? Okay,
So-
Comedy Central.
Hold on,
oh,
the
infomercial.
Like, have you seen what was that show with the guy who died? They had the beard. You know that guy.
Billy
Lost.
Mays.
Yeah, you see
Oh.
this reality show they did with those guys and his partners, and they had that whole control center where they know when the infomercials
Does well.
are airing, and they can watch real time and say, okay, we got a hit product, or we're never going to do this again.
But
that quick.
here's what I was thinking. Like back when I was figuring out how much it costs to do that, you could get some comics, have them just do stand up. You know who does that is Byron Allen.
Yeah.
You
Byron
know that
Allen
guy.
does it, yeah.
All those shows, Comics Unleashed, his comedy, just his stand up one, are all infomercial paid
So
spots.
wait, what?
And then he sells advertising within those spots.
We
But
don't
those-
need to sell advertising. We're gonna sell fucking DVDs and shirts and fucking Mercedes S classes. Like this is
do
not a bad
both.
idea at all.
You can do both.
I fucking love this concept. I'm making sure it's recording and we're not blowing out levels. That's fucking genius. I love this fucking.
Or why
idea.
can't we come up with a Thigh Master? We'll come up with a product.
Okay, all right. So much like On It Labs has got Alpha Brain and all that. We just go in and we find a product that we support.
Like the ShamWow. Yeah.
But wait. What? Okay, wait.
Or you
hold
want
on.
to just-
Let's cut back. Let's cut back. Let's cut
It
back.
doesn't have to work.
It just needs to be funny, so people come see our stand up.
Yeah, you know how many people I was talking to somebody about this. If you bought time and it's you doing stand up and
Yes.
it plays 10 minutes of you doing stand up, you could saturate every market where anytime people tuned in, they would see those 5 guys doing stand up, and then when you rolled into that city, people would go, those are the guys from the thing.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Okay. All right.
Hands down.
Here's what
That's
I would.
what that Byron Allen does it and is a billionaire.
How much does it cost? How much one of those spots cost?
I don't think it's much. It's not.
Especially now, because the
And if you buy a bunch of them, it's like pennies on the dollar.
So tell me what's it going to cost, John, to rent a set, to get a film crew to shoot it? How much money do we need?
It depends on if you want to go
What
high
up?
tech or not. You can.
Low tech. I think people will appreciate
do
low
green
tech.
screen?
Yeah, I want it to look like Wayne's World.
Did you see that? There's one now. It's
$5,000.
it's an internet.
Shut up.
It's an internet guide, like how to make money on the internet with no experience. You don't even know how to open up a computer.
Yeah.
My system will show you. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment, but after
Yeah.
that guy, he's sitting at a desk with this chick, and they're just talking, dude, and it looks no different than.
Well, it's like. Have you ever seen? Have you ever listened to Opie and Anthony?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you ever seen Anthony's Compound Show?
Oh, I've heard about it.
It's fucking great. It's fucking great. First of all, if you're a fan of Opie and Anthony, you'll like it anyway. But if you're not a fan of Opie and Anthony, you've never heard of Opie and Anthony, it's Anthony who's one of the hosts, and he just gets drunk on a green screen. He has a weather girl. Like it's not, but like it's straight up. I don't even know if he has a weather girl. I think I'm thinking of his ex-girlfriend. But it's him producing a TV show out of his house, and I'm like, wow, the way the internet's happening. Why not? Like, let's find a product. We all get behind it, and we all talk about it.
You could go in a studio, shoot a podcast, shoot a visual, set up the things, have guests on, and call it the Podcast Gym Show, and slap that on and be in every market.
Is it
right?
easy?
I mean,
Absolutely.
you could just
Absolutely.
and I'm sure you know who else does that, dude. Is you ever see those shows? They're in every city. They come on late at night where it's like, hey, my name's Samantha, and we're going to hit some of the hottest places in Los Angeles. Hey, we're at the restaurant. All those are paid spots.
So they're
those,
paying
like,
for the
magazine
spot.
shows.
Yes. It comes on after Saturday Night Live here.
Yeah, and then some are
LA
like,
or some
yeah,
stuff
exactly.
like that.
But they have them in
I want to shoot now
different cities.
Yeah.
Now that I've shot enough, I was doing the math the other day. I've been in the field shooting TV in the field more than fucking the vast majority of talent on television. So I was like, okay.
Oh, really, Matt Lauer?
Yeah.
Really, Peter
Matt Lauer.
Jennings?
Yeah.
Lauer?
Okay, let me just say more than
Anyone on
Jordan
CNN?
Hembrow, the toy hunter. Okay?
Okay, yes.
That's the only person I've ever done more than. But I was like, I was looking at my numbers and I was like, not numbers, but like how much I've been in the field. I'm like, I've been in the field solid for 4 years, every fucking week, that's a lot when it comes to like, the 10,000 work hours or whatever. And I didn't mean to shit on Jordan. I was joking with Jordan, and he knows I love him. But
He's
so
okay.
careful. You gotta be
He's
so
looking
careful
for
on
toys.
podcasts.
Yeah,
these
people
days.
get sensitive.
4 years in the field, that translates to what, like 2 weeks of actual work?
Yeah. As opposed to digging a ditch.
So you got 2 weeks in. You got 2
Imagine
weeks
digging a
experience.
hole. So I was like, man, I know how to make an okay show, but you know what I really know how to make is a really shitty TV show, like an almost unwatchable, network would never let you air it show. I can definitely do that. I was like, what if I get one of those late night spots and just do the most base, hey, we're some of the hottest spots. What brings you here? And you just host it horribly and make it a train wreck to watch. People would probably fucking watch it.
How many times, if you go back, when, let's say, Girls Gone Wild or whatever, when those infomercials are on, how many?
Oh, look at Leanne.
It's gonna get to. It's probably good
Leanne
that
just
you get
walked
that
in.
before
Little
we've been staring at it.
Are you coming tomorrow?
No.
Hey, now, first of
my
all,
mother
I
you
told
said
Leanne I thought she looked hot today. She goes, I look like a lesbian. And I was like, I guess that's what I like. Do you think she looks like a
I don't
lesbian?
know, a lesbian. She looks like a writer, or she's going to the biology lecture.
Yeah.
She needs a JanSport bag.
Cake boss?
No, you look
No.
like you're going to a Lisa Loeb concert.
Yeah, you do.
You say you
All
want to
right.
hear if you want to.
Okay, great. Joey might be coming by, just giving you a heads up.
Okay.
I gave Pris a bone to distract her. No, we're fine. We're fine. You're kind of killing the mojo here, there, woman.
Cave-like, do you?
Beat it.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Would she let you do infomercials, or would we tell her that at dinner?
Leanne is a money grubbing.
Yeah, not
like,
grubbing. Maybe not grubbing.
She,
Maybe collecting.
yeah, I'm not gonna finish that sentence.
Yeah,
No, but
yeah.
Leanne, all she gives a fuck about is money. She's like, I want to sell. We need to get advertisers. She brought me a cigarette company. She was like, I want to.
She wanted to get into line with
yeah,
big
she's
tobacco.
Like, she's like, let me tell you something. They can't advertise on this, but they can advertise on your podcast. Let's start smoking Luckies. Like,
But
that's Leanne's. That's Leanne's fucking way
How many
of looking at
infomercials
business.
do you actually do you ever just stop and then before you know it you go, I've been watching this thing for 10 minutes?
Absolutely.
Let me tell you something.
Like there's a fishing lure called the bango
Yeah.
fishing lure.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't fish, but I sometimes like, look how good that thing is.
I
Like,
love-
I get,
I watch. I have a massive respect for HSN. HSN hosts Home Shopping Network.
I don't know how they talk about it for that long.
I don't know how they do it either. It's a muscle I don't have. And not only that, they take callers and they connect with their caller in a real heartfelt, wholesome American way. Well, thank you, honey. I hope you have a great Christmas with you. And I can't even say the sentence that I'm making fun of. But like, I saw Sam Brown. Sam Brown's on Travel Channel too. I saw Sam Brown on Home Shopping Network. And she has her own luggage. I was like, what the fuck?
Have you seen the Knife Guys infomercial? It's like it's like Home Shopping, but it's not on Home Shopping. And he buys local spots, and it looks just like it.
Yeah.
Item numbers and everything.
Same.
It's so lo-fi. They miss camera shots all the time. He holds up the wrong knife. It's just
Shut
hysterical
up.
to watch.
Well, that's how that Trudeau guy, that guy. Here's a book the government doesn't want you to see.
Who's Trudeau? I don't know.
I
who
want to
Trudeau
order
is.
that every time.
Who is that? I don't know.
It's just some guy that it makes it look like it's a news magazine,
Yeah.
like it's like 2020, and he only uses hot like chicks, and it's
Yeah.
all the government doesn't want you to know how to get $100 if you know, kind of like that guy who wore the
God, man.
question marks?
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
And the
I
two
wanna
little
order that
people, the two little twins that used to sell real estate in California.
We need to do this, and you know what we need to do is then we mock any other infomercial that would be on at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you're basically like almost like we're rap battling all these other infomercials. Like we
Yeah.
go after all those guys.
And we just load it up with sex. Like just sex sells.
Just have a chick like dancing behind a silhouette like you're at some bar in Vegas. And we'll just have that on for 30
we
minutes.
can do this. I don't know why we don't. What is it, $5,000? That's all we need? I bet we can find an investor who's got a product. Okay, if you're an investor with a product, like a really great product, and you're like, I want to sell this. I want to sell this on, let's do a test trial. Someone gives us our product. You get the spots. We'll shoot it. We'll make it. And we'll see how your numbers are, and then we'll decide whether or
Have
not.
like Diaz, us, just all in like in some gritty looking set like Taxi. Just
Yeah,
like, what is this thing right here?
And
I
just-
don't know. It's supposed to toast fish.
Wouldn't it be great, too, if you did that old school Johnny Carson? You're like, let's check. They're shooting next door, and you open the door, and it's Ari and Duncan. You're like, get in here, guys. And they're like,
You
what?
selling?
Yeah, and we just have a.
High on mushrooms, talking about this new blanket that keeps
Yeah.
you warm all night.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. There's so much money to be made. We're on the short side of the money right now. We're doing clubs for like what do you get? Like I get 35,000. That's so. I was wondering if you're gonna catch that.
So you're not working the whole week.
Yeah,
I jokingly,
that's for Sunday show, right?
yeah. I jokingly, when we're on set, whenever we wrap, like everyone, because I think the people think on television you make a ton of money when you really don't. But whenever we wrap, I always go, like, and I make sure to do this in front of everyone. I go, whoo, easiest $125,000 I ever made, and you always watch my travelers go, you made $125,000 for that? Yeah, and then you go, oh yeah, for this weekend. Like it's just so much fun. And then you have to pull them aside and go, no, I actually make 5.
Have you bought? I actually bought one time the How to Get Rich. I fell for one of those infomercials.
Well, you've fallen for all of them. You also bought the book, the game.
Oh yeah, that wasn't an infomercial.
Yeah, but you bought that book and you're like, man, you got to start wearing crazy hats.
No, remember I said it works. It totally
It
works.
does. He says you got to wear crazy hats. The more crazy of a hat you
I
have.
just can't do it. I can't do it. Like it's ridiculous the stuff you have to do, but it totally works.
No, who does a crazy hat like?
Break down the theory of the game. The game is a book
It's the
written by a
pickup
dude.
artist.
It's a pickup artist that is a lot of neuro-linguistic programming techniques.
Yes.
NLP stuff.
Yes.
Don't know
And
what that
like
is.
Yeah.
It's playing mental games, but it's the mental games that always
I'm certified in NLP.
Work. It
Really?
always work.
You're one of the more fascinating fucking people I know. Keep going.
Like the whole basic of it is the nag. you got to give the girl, you got to put her down, and that's the nag.
I do that to my wife all the time.
And like he'll say, carry like some lint in your pocket, and just pinch off a piece and pull it off her. Act like you're pulling it off her clothes.
Shut
It's a lot
up.
of work.
God, that's fucking
And
genius,
it's like
though.
you have to be like a jerk, and like I don't have that in me, but it does work. 'Cause like the one night
You can take it to the next level and be like, "Oh my god, what the fuck is in your hair?" And pull out like a French fry and go, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "Oh my god, oh my!" Like have like a dead roach and be like, "Oh, that came out of your ear."
Or if you're reaching over to her, why not just drop the roofie into her drink? If you have to reach
That's
across the
That
table,
works just as easy.
it's just as easy, and then you don't got to carry lint in your
wouldn't
pocket.
even find roofies. If you said, "I'll give you $100,000 if you could find roofies," I wouldn't even know where to start. Now go back. You put lint on her.
So you do that, and you never talk to her. Only talk to her friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she's thinking, "Oh my, I'm a mess. Like, he's only talking to my friends. I've got to do something to really impress him. I know what? I'll take him home and sleep with him." That's
Shut
the
up.
basic idea of it.
That fucking works.
It totally does. And like, it's funny. Like I went back and thought, like, there was one night I pulled a number from this chick that I had no business pulling a number from, and it was only because I was calling her the wrong name all night, purely by accident. I thought her name was something else.
Yeah.
And that was messing with her head.
There's also ways you can do it where you can mirror and match the person you're talking to. However they're talking, if they're talking like really high pace, if she's like this, you match her tone in your pace. Because
Really?
people like people who are like them. So
I definitely like people like. I like people like me. I think.
yeah. So, but if you like, if people are in rapport with each other, they're usually sitting the same. So look at how everybody look at YouTube.
Look at that's so crazy. We're sitting
Right?
identical right now.
So, if I didn't point it out, if let's say you're sitting with a girl like that, in obviously if you're listening, you can't see, but you if they have their hand, let's say up by their temple,
Yeah.
you mirror that. And if you want to see if the person's in rapport, after you're hanging out in that space, you put your hand down and see if they switch positions.
So that's how you find out if they're vibing with you.
I do it at meetings. You know, you create states in certain people. Like I walked into a meeting where the executive had.
I've never put that much thought into a meeting, but
yeah,
now
she
that
had,
I
like,
think
hand,
about
like
it,
hand paintings
I've had
from
bad
her
meetings.
kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like from her kid, and they're like, "This woman's really kind of bitchy. She doesn't give love to anybody. Just whatever." So I walk
you
in.
met with Sharon Levy?
all the.
As a joke. That's a joke. That's John's boss right now, and she was my boss, and she's awesome.
She's a lovely woman.
She's awesome. I fucking love Sharon, and she'll never hear that. But if she does, she'll know I still think about her. She's great. Sorry,
She'll
keep
think
going.
I was in here complaining about it.
I just had to say that because I had to see the look on your face when I dropped it. Ah! Oh, I fucking love Sharon. I love Sharon. Keep going. And so does John. Go ahead.
So everybody came in and shook this woman's hand, and she's stonewalling. She's like, "Hello, hello, hello," and right before I touched her,
Hold on one second. We have a caller. Caller, you're on the podcast.
You're doing one at 11 o'clock?
We're doing one right now. Come by right now, Joey.
Yeah, I'm with my wife. We're shopping. I just got the text on something.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if you get done shopping earlier, stop by.
What time are you around all day? You want to get some coffee later or something?
Yeah. Give me a text when you get done shopping. I'll give you a text when we get done with this. All right, bye. All right, keep going. So this woman, I love taking callers on this.
that's a good way to do it. So
Seamless.
yeah, so this woman, so everyone, and she's in a bad mood, shaking hands because she's probably were the 700th people she's seen that day. So she has a hand painting, like a finger painting from her kid on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So before I touched her, I go, "That's a great painting." And then she looked over. She goes, "Yeah." I go, "How did you feel when you got that?" So now if I ask you a question, your brain cannot not answer a question, right? So unless the kid passed away, you know.
Oh, that's how my meeting goes.
Yeah.
That's
But
how my meeting goes.
she goes.
Guy in the front row's got sunglasses. I'm like, hey, asshole. He's blind. Oh, shit.
So she goes, "Yeah, that painting." So now I just elicited those happy feelings, and then I shook her hand.
God damn it.
That's
What?
smart.
Okay.
I wish I thought that far ahead.
I wish I thought that far ahead, too. I actually asked a woman in the front
Keep in mind, I
row.
haven't been on TV in 7 years, so maybe the stuff I'm doing is not overly right. Maybe I would. But there's also, a bunch of different ways that you can do that. There's the There's one technique. If you're a single guy, you should try this.
Okay, stop everyone. Get a pen and paper and write this down. Because I wish I had this fucking info. You know what I did when I was single? I just got as drunk as possible until I was comfortable around them, and then tried to kiss them on the way home.
Yeah.
That was it.
See, you were a handsome man. Like, I've had this.
Yeah.
You know.
John, everyone is.
I've got to rely on sense of humor, which doesn't always.
So wait. What's the single?
What's the secret? I want to hear.
Well, there's a. It's called spatial anchoring when you're talking about.
Oh, you
something.
talked about this. You do this on stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this
But
is fucking awesome.
Guys can do this singly. If you're sitting across from a girl, and you're talking to her, and you go like, "Hey, so what do you like in a guy?" And every time she says something positive, you point. You like your hand. You don't go like that, but you just kind of with your hands. You go, "Oh, so you like a guy that's like funny." And you kind of
just gesture.
Gesture to the empty space next to her.
Yeah.
Oh, she's real funny. Blah, blah, blah,
I know what you're gonna do.
So now I've just told you that area right there is funny, is positive, is whatever she's saying. And then you get up and go to the bathroom. When we come back, you sit in that spot.
And so now everything.
I've just told you that spot next to you is all this positive stuff.
And
now
then you just
I go
own
and
that
I
spot.
take up that space.
That's brilliant.
Because it's spatial awareness. Like if I'm on stage, if I see a comic in front of me who is kind of like not my energy or not my vibe,
Yeah.
I'll take the mic out and I'll stand to the left, to the right. I won't take his space until the crowd is mine, and then I'll move in there. Or if the guy crushes in front of me. If he had his hand on the mic stand or whatever, I'll take the mic stand out, put my hand exactly how he was to try to, keep that energy going.
I sometimes do their act a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll sell fire wallets. Hey, guys, I got some fire wallets that I'm selling.
Wait, that's so crazy. Did you read books about this shit?
Yeah.
Really?
And then I got certified. Had a weekend off, so I got certified in. It's really cool stuff.
That's
in language, too. Like you learn if you listen to. Everybody's got either their visual, audio, feeling, or whatever, and you can tell what the person's modalities are by how they speak. Like if they go, can you imagine if we did an infomercial? Could you see the people watching it? It would look so cool. So that person is visual. So then when you're talking to them, you start going, hey, what'd be really cool? I'd like to see that other bar that's down the street, or I would like to take a look at. Or, here, like people use different. If you listen to how they talk, you can pick up those.
What got you into thinking like this? Because, here's the thing. I live. Everything I do is a Zen kind of like. I try not to overthink about it, because if I overthink about it, I start paralyzing myself. If I think about a meeting I'm about to go into, or if I think about an audition, I'll fucking ruin it. If you give me the sides the second before I step in the room, I destroy. And if you give me. If you tell me a meeting and you don't tell me what the meeting's about, and I show up to the meeting and I go right as we walk in the room, so do you know who we're meeting with? I do much better in those situations.
That's probably because that doesn't give you a chance to play out the scenario in your head, because everybody is also different. Some people will have a still picture, other people will play the movie out. That's probably how you are with flying. Is all your inner dialogue.
Oh my God.
The visual. You start playing that out, and there's ways
so
for you to stop that.
I got on a jet one time, and I did not understand. I didn't get that we were going to be getting on the jet and just taking off. I hadn't really gotten all worked up about flying at all. And then we just got on the jet and the door shut, and I was like, "Oh, we're going." And they were like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Okay." And I didn't have any anxiety. But I wonder if that fucking overthinking, because I have you've seen me in airports. I drink ridiculously.
Well, your body doesn't know the difference, or your brain doesn't know the difference between something that is imagined or something that really happened to you. Except for reality filters, it really doesn't know the difference. So that's why if you were to sit here and start imagining you getting an argument with your wife. Ever have those, like you're driving home, you have a fake argument with somebody in your head?
I do that all the time.
Are you kidding me? I've been having those all week.
So, but your body physically reacts
fucking yes.
to as if it happened. And then when you get home, then your wife is like all happy to see you, and you're like, fuck you fucking, like, and then she's like, whoa, what happened? Well, your body doesn't know the difference. So if you start imagining worst case scenarios, your body is going to react as if those are happening. And then now everything you do is going to make sure that worst case scenario.
Man,
You know,
It's like the
if I was to
secret.
ask you to go, if I was
like
to
the
say, tell me
secret.
about the lunch you had yesterday with your kids, and you were telling me that, right?
yeah.
If I go now, tell me about when the Terminator came to your house and was chasing you, and you were just to make up a story.
Yeah.
Your brain doesn't know that one because they're both now in your memory bank. Whether you're making it up or it actually happened, it's not the present, so it's all memory.
I'm that
If that
kind
makes
of,
any sense, because also you have filters like I forgot what the thing is, but I guess it doesn't matter. 100 billion bits of information are coming at you right now. Your body usually takes in 7 plus or minus 3 bits of information. So right now you're maybe listening to me, maybe watching the football game.
So funny. I'm
maybe
trying. As you said that, I tried to figure out what I was doing, and I was like, there are
you don't,
lollipops
because your
behind your
because
head.
your brain, you've told yourself just subconsciously what's important to me at any given time. If I was to ask you, how's your foot feel right now? You obviously weren't paying attention to your foot until
Yeah.
I called, and then your brain went, wait, my foot? How is it feeling? So your body. So that's why the three of us could go out to have dinner, and then somebody ask us later, tell me about the dinner. We're gonna have 3 completely different stories on what happened because certain things were more important to us.
I get so focused either in like either a premise or a story or like a bit or a concept or anything, or even arguing with someone. I get so focused that I've actually had times like during a night, during like an evening, where I've bumped into something and not known about it because I was so focused on something else, and then I wake up with a huge bruise on my leg, and I'm like, "What the fuck was that from?" And I've had people tell me when we were walking out of the bar, like, you didn't remember, and I was like, "No, but I'm also drunk." But yeah, but like
There's
I
a
get
mystery
obsessive. Like Leanne calls it Bert mode. I get obsessive where I start. It's like unraveling a wrinkled up necklace. Like I'm just playing with the concept so fucking much.
Right.
That that's so interesting. No, wait.
So I got into it. I was doing. I had a deal, and
Is this post Last Comic Standing?
Yeah. This was maybe 2 years ago. I had a deal, and I was going to shoot the Jon Heffron show, and
Talk show, comedy show, sitcom.
sitcom.
Yeah.
And I was wigging out because I'm like, okay, that's a lot of pressure. So I got with this mind coach guy, and we went over the scenario the day of the shooting, everything that was going to go down.
This does really. Have you ever? This does sound like Kyle Cease a little bit.
A little bit.
Well,
like-
it's NLP. It's also like, but I don't get culty about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just so it's mental rehearsal where you just kind of go through the day, and I literally imagined like the director going, "Man, that was great." I had fake. Because if you're going to imagine something, you can either go worst case scenario,
Which is what I normally
since
do.
we're make believing, you can also go, this is going to be the best thing ever.
I think I do. I think
it's
I do.
not happened yet.
Yeah, I think I do little bits of that. I know for a fact that I would worst case scenario working on television. Just in my, I mean, that's how I looked at. I was like, this is going to be fucking tough. This is going to be hard. I'm not going to be good at this. And then once you get kind of good at it, then you go, this is going to be a fucking cakewalk. This is going to be great. This is going to be easy. And then you start being good at it, and it's all about this weird kind of underlying confidence that kind of starts like
Well,
carrying you
because
forward
you're
like on a
afraid
wave.
It's because you're afraid of it. Where people wig out is when you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, like if the first time you tied a shoe was you were like stressed.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, okay, the loop goes through here. I'll never get this. And now you do it without even thinking. So I ran through the first day of the shooting of the show just in my head so many times that when I got there that day, none of it was new. There was no fear of the unknown because I worked through. And then there are things that happened that I wasn't prepared for, but that was still better than you know, and I locked in that feeling of the director saying it was a nice job, you did perfect. That was, you know,
Part of Hollywood is just coming in confident.
Yeah, absolutely.
that's it. And if you don't, you know,
And
if you've never done it before, you can imagine doing it and just kind of get there, and then you still have nerves, but they're not. I think you lower the risk of self-sabotaging.
When you're making a TV show, John, correct me if I'm wrong, or give me your opinion. I always think the only reason I work in Hollywood are probably two things. Number one, I'm fun to be around, and number two, I don't keep the crew long. Like I just can get everything in a couple takes and then we're done. What do you think is the best thing for someone, like on your side of the camera?
On my side, it's easy. It just never act like you're worried about anything. You know?
Yeah.
Because as soon as you start showing stress, everyone feels that, and they start getting stressed. And then you've got all these pockets of stress. You've got, 10,
Really?
20, 30 pockets of stress. People wig out, and it just gets ugly. If everything's cool, yeah, okay, that's what we wanted to do. Or we'll fix it, no big deal.
Yeah.
People are so much calmer. They do their job so much better. And you get them out. Getting them out early is a good thing, too. Like, there are certain producers who run their shows, like, they hate their home life and they don't want to go home.
Yeah. So
they stay 12, 14, 15 hours on a day they don't have to stay, and they make sure everybody else stays there with them. I'll tell you who was worse. I shouldn't say this, but it's not like she was ever going to hire me anyway. People who worked on the Oprah show had no life. She was always promoting this, it's the best life ever. No life.
Really?
They're in there 16, 18 hours a day, living in fear, because it's such a big process.
Yeah.
It's only TV, people.
Yeah.
If we screw up everything, nobody dies. We're just making people laugh.
Well, I've been on shows where you might die.
Well,
Yeah. If you're on like a Fear Factor show, somebody could.
I heard Bert almost died a couple times. Yeah.
I've always heard I've heard this phrase, and I've always thought it's not real, and that's people who are afraid of success. Is that real? Like
Yes.
They self-sabotage themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, I you know what? For a
I can't
while,
comprehend that.
when I would go out for sitcoms, I would always be like the second guy. Like I would test and I would come, and then after a while, it took me a long time to figure this out. I was like, I think I somehow self-sabotaged it because I was afraid if I got it, I wouldn't know what to do if I got it. So it was easier for me to almost get it. Or then it would be game time, and then yeah.
I've I've accidentally sabotaged a lot. I used to go into auditions and talk about other guys. Like, just 'cause I was nervous and, like, I'd be like, who you should really test for this? Joel McHale, he's really talented. Like, I fucking was conceptually, I would fuck it up all the time. But I have seen dudes where I'm like, don't, maybe, I don't know if it's, but don't you see what you're doing wrong? I can clearly see what you're doing wrong. Like, I definitely know that getting shit-faced before a television taping is a horrible idea. Like, I know, that getting high before you do this is probably not the best idea, but what has happened in their life, best advice that was ever given to me in comedy, I have probably like 10 things that are great advice, but one of the first advice I ever got, first night I ever did stand-up was at a bar in Tallahassee called Potbelly's, and radio show had put together a stand-up show. I was going to headline because I was the number one party animal in the country. I had sold all the tickets, but they brought in 4 touring comics in Florida, and I was nervous as shit. I was closing the show. I didn't understand what a bad scenario that was. Everyone's doing 20 minutes, including me. I didn't realize how fucked I was. And then, and I'm nervous, and I go to the bar. I grab a beer. I don't know this dude's name to this day. Pulls up to me, and he goes, listen, I'm going to give you the great bit of advice, but I would not do that. He goes, if yours is your first time, I'd do it sober, because if you do that now, you'll have to do it every time. And I was like, shut up. And that guy was Jim Brewer. Amazing. No. I fucking, no, but yeah. So so now I don't need to drink when I go on stage. I drink because I get bored. Like, I drink because I'm bored on the road. But like, I totally can do stand up sober, 100%. I actually am better when I do it sober. The problem is I just get on the road for fucking, whatever, 40 weeks a year, and you're just like, I'm not going to not drink. What are we, fucking Mormons? Come on. I'm not wearing underwear, and I'm not drinking.
Right.
Now, so now, Jon Heffron and I met at Last Comic Standing in Nashville.
That's right.
That was when we first fucking met. I never forget when I went there, Barry Katz was like, did you see Jon Heffron? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, he's really funny. And I was like, yeah. Now, mind you, we had just gone to the next level together. And I was talking to my manager, who also was an executive producer, and everyone says it was rigged. It was not rigged, because I definitely, if it was rigged, I would have been in on the fix, and I was not.
Yeah,
money involved. Like, there's
that's my favorite thing is when people go, "Last comic was fixed." Oh, really? To give every winner a TV show because most of us all disappear after we've won it.
It definitely was not fixed. I mean, I was at the time.
It was cast. It was definitely cast.
definitely cast.
But once
you
the
have
show
to.
started, then there's laws and regulations if it's a contest. But it's definitely, you're not going to have, you know.
Definitely, I'll tell you this, and I've
It's
said
a
this
TV
out
show.
loud. They sent me to Nashville to go audition because they didn't have anyone in Nashville that they knew that they could make a show out of. So they were like, you know, you can audition in L.A., you can audition in New York, you can go to Tampa. They were doing Tampa then, too. And they're like, or you can go to Nashville. And Nashville just worked in my schedule. And so I flew to Nashville, auditioned, and I saw Heffron, and I think we were the only ones that went on the next level from Nashville.
Right.
And we went to the bar across the street. I don't even think you drank a beer, but I definitely drank a couple of beers.
Right.
And then and then we left. And I remember talking to Barry that next weekend. I went to the Super Bowl with and Barry was there. And he was like, "Did you see Jon Heffron?" And I did not see your set 'cause you couldn't go out and watch other people's sets.
Right.
And he was like, "He's the funniest guy on this. I guarantee he wins it. I swear to God." And I was like, I remember going like, "Hold on, I'm on it too." But he was like, "Man, you don't have a lot of clean material. He's got a lot of clean material, Papa." Like, and I don't think he. I definitely am not saying that he had rigged it then. But what I'm saying is that I remember looking at you going, "Motherfucker!" And then the first episode started airing, and like, no, you guys had gang shot them, and I saw you gave one of the funniest lines. No. One of the funniest lines. Now I forget it. It was when you and Bonnie McFarlane went up against each other.
Right.
And I forget the fucking line you said, but it was so fucking funny. And I remember going, "Oh, that's what Barry's talking about." And you murdered like that whole season. What was I always wanted to be on Last Comic Standing. What was it like?
It was, you know, if you look back, there's some stuff like I was way more stressed, but maybe because you just do that when you look back and go, why was I?
Yeah.
I never thought that, like, I thought I was going to be done after every episode. And once I made it into the house, you know, now there was 10.
Yeah.
There was a massage chair at Sharper Image.
Yeah.
And all I was thinking is if I could be on for one day, because scale, you made maybe an episode $400 or
That's
$600.
what you made an episode for that?
Yeah, that's all you made, right? But so I went, if I could stay in the house, if I can make it to the next round, I can buy that massage chair. And that was literally my motivation. Like, I was just thinking, you know what I mean? I'm like, if I just make it this one more round, and then I would go, then the next time I was on, like, if I didn't get booted, I was like, if I make it the next one, I'm going to buy, like, I had all these, like, crazy things that I would buy if I made it.
I did a show for Comedy Central called Reality Bites Back. It was me, Kyle Cease, Donnell Rollins, Mo Mandel, Amy Schumer, Red Grant, Jeff Garcia, Theo Vaughn. I think I've got everyone.
Right.
There was maybe a couple more. I'm sorry. Oh, Tiffany Haddish and I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. But Chris Fairbanks. So the point is, it's a joke show. It's a joke. The whole premise is a joke. It's a mock of Last Comic Standing, and that a bunch of comics are living in a house, and we're all doing competitions. But everything was satirical. So, like, every episode would be a different challenge. So instead of, like, you think you can dance, it would be like you think you can dive, and we do a diving competition. And everything was supposed to be funny. It was supposed to be so lighthearted. But our scale was like $8,000 an episode. We were all making $8,000 an episode.
Wow.
And the more you stayed on, the another $8,000 you got. So it got fucking cutthroat. You're talking about a bunch of comics that would take a month to make $8,000, and I'll never forget. I'll never forget the first elimination round. I was like, I remember they nominated Kyle Cease and Donnell Rollins, and our moms had to pick who went home. And it was so weird. They brought us in a room and had us in a dark room and had us try to turn on a woman, and they turned on the lights. And it was our fucking moms, and we were like, I was like, motherfucker. Still uncomfortable about that. Oh my God, there's so many things I regret about doing that show. But the first time they turn on the lights or they got to kick someone off, and I'll never forget. I think it was Amy Schumer going, "We just made another $8,000." And I went, "What?" And she goes, "We're on for another week. We made another $8,000." And I was like, "That's $16,000." I was like, I had fucking 2 kids. I was like, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah.
And Amy's like, "You want to bond together?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
She's like, "Me and Theo have already talked
how
about
fast
it."
that stuff
Oh,
starts.
it
You're
was-
like, okay, there's a little bit of gameplay on that. We did that on
and
Last Comic.
they were ridiculous. Like they were like, who can carry the most bananas and put them through a thing? And you find yourself not being funny at all, but carrying bananas like a gorilla. Like, I gotta win this. And then, but it was so. And then I got voted off, and I was like, and I tried to save face.
Did you cry when you get voted off?
That is maybe it's maybe the most dangerous thing I've ever done in comedy, but the funniest thing I've ever done in comedy. So we got voted off, It's Greg Louganis. So you think you can dive? And I made the misstep of thinking that if I hit on Greg Louganis, he would keep me in the show. And then I hit on Greg Louganis, and then halfway through the show, he asked someone, like, what's up with this guy? You know, like, he's kind of cute. And I don't know, I was in a Speedo, and they're like, oh, he's not gay. He's married. He's doing it as a joke. And Greg Louganis got upset. He got genuinely upset. And when we went to go vote people off, it was me, Mo, and Amy. And his first thing, and they cut it out, but the first thing he says is, Bert, I just want to give you a heads up. You do not hit on a man when you're straight, okay? Like, you don't lead someone on like that. Like, real serious. Michael Ian Black even was like, oh, my God. Like, and I was like, and then Amy and Mo were like, looks like we're staying. Yeah, $8,000. Cha-ching, cha-ching. So they stay. Greg leaves. I get voted off. I'm in a Speedo with a robe on, and Michael Ian Black's on the table, and he says, and it's our exit interview, like our Donald Trump. Bert, you've made a lot of poor decisions in your life, yada, yada, yada. And I go, Michael, the great thing is they just keep coming. And I get naked. I get totally naked, and I get on the boardroom table, and I start put my legs up on the back of his chair, and I start pulling his chair towards my junk. And Michael, I'm trying to get him to crack. I'm trying to get him to laugh because he had not laughed this entire time. And he kept moving forward, and he's turning his face. And like, I even have a great line where I go, look at Michael. And he goes, I'm afraid I'll turn to stone. And I go, part of you may. And so, and then at the end, I do a backspin, and I stick it naked right in front of him, and I look at him, and he falls out laughing. The whole crew breaks up, and I walk off, and I'm like, I'm literally thinking to myself, I remember getting in bed with Leanne that night going, I have kids. Like, people are going to see me naked on television. I'm going to look like a fucking fool. Like, and I was so nervous. And then it aired, and Amy Schumer was the first person. She called me, and she was like, have you seen it? Best exit I've ever seen in the entire fucking show. And if you watch it, it's funny as shit, but Comedy Central won't get the rights to it. But I have it.
That's
fucking funniest thing I've ever done. But that was my exit.
It's not on YouTube somewhere?
I have it. It won't. I can't be played in this country. I have it on my YouTube, on my thing, but I can't. I think Comedy Central took it off. I gotta get a copy of it.
You know where the Comedy Central does that? As a comic, you're on so many Comedy Central stuff, and then anytime you put clips of you on your website, you get a little thing from Viacom saying, "Can you take that down?"
Yeah, and you're like, you're in violation of, and I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Take my YouTube page
Did you know
off?
that? I think I've told this story before. This random fact about TV. When we were on Last Comic, you got the standard issue day rate, and if you were on from from episode 1 to the end, you made $22,000. Is what the math was.
Really?
Like if you were top 5, you made 22 because you were on every episode.
Fucking great business practices.
Okay.
To get 10 of the funniest people in America, put them in a room, and all you're paying is $200,000 for 10 talents.
And that's 10 weeks of prime time television.
And their numbers were through the roof. 13 million people the first. I never forget.
So I won our season
people.
because we were new. We didn't make any money. Like the other guys maybe won like $250,000, but on my season it was $50,000 talent hold, which is nothing.
That's all it was?
Yeah. So I made 22 out of my 50. They subtracted 22,000 from my 50.
Right.
Hold on.
That's right.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah, so I made 22 for, if I came in second, I would have still made 22.
Yeah.
Right? So then I got a $50,000 talent hold. They subtracted 22 from the 50.
That is
It wasn't
so
22.
fucking bullshit.
Yeah, so then after taxes, agents, and paying that, $4,800. Just a little
Are you
random
fucking
funness.
kidding me?
Yeah.
That's
Now let's do this. Let's do this. You ready? This is gonna be
I
fun.
mean, obviously that the money you made there wasn't. Then it's gone off to be very,
Okay.
I did well for myself.
Excluding Jon Heffron. Yeah, you made a dickload on the road.
Yeah, still.
You made a dickload on the road.
Yeah.
Now, and you still do. So now, excluding Jon Heffron, let's list top 5 people that have ever been on Last Comic Standing.
Can I say? I should say John Reap, since me and him have a podcast.
You can't put John Reap in there either.
Heffron and Reap?
You can't put Reap in either. Oh, let's fucking put Reap in. No, let's not put Reap in because he's on your podcast.
I'm going to go Todd Glass.
Number 1, Todd Glass. Oh,
I'm gonna say
he was on
Kathleen
it.
Madigan.
I'm gonna trump all of you. Number 1 person that's ever been on Last Comic Standing, Amy Schumer. She's fucking huge right now.
4th runner-up.
Wait, you talking
all of them?
funny on the show?
We're talking
or after the fact.
people that made it.
evolved?
I mean,
people that made it.
People that made it. People that.
Oh,
people
you're
that.
talking about like who we thought. Were
Oh no,
the-
we can't do that because then everyone's gonna be like, "How come you don't think I'm funny?" No, we're talking about people who have succeeded the most in Last Comic Standing.
Ralphie May.
Yeah.
Ralphie May, probably.
Are we going dollars?
Let's
Remember last time we talked about money? Somebody said, "Why don't you guys just whip out your dicks and show
Yeah.
it?" That's what we.
I would do
But
that too.
Ralphie May's probably made more money than anybody else on any of the last comics put together,
So okay, so
Absolutely.
and still does.
yeah, and still does. Ralphie,
Kathleen, and then I'll go. If we're talking money,
Madigan,
Madigan,
Benson.
but no
Doug Benson.
Schumer because
Schumer's making
recently,
a dickload of money.
but
Yeah,
she'll
but
still go.
But she
But
lasted.
Kathleen-
she did Last Comic Standing and lasted to get to the roast. The roasts are what
Roast
has
is what-
defined.
And the
Yeah.
thrower. Madigan was powerful before last comic, and still.
I would venture to say Madigan's rate went up, but not by much because I think she was making a lot of money on the road anyway.
But if we're going now, though, she does theaters all by herself and has a thing.
Yeah.
Madigan,
Ralphie.
Ralphie, Amy Schumer, Doug Benson. Oh, fucking come on. We're missing the obvious. I'm not fat, I'm fluffy.
Yeah, you go.
He was on
Gabe-
Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah, he got
Gabriel
booted off.
Iglesias.
Oh yeah,
He got booted off for having a cell phone. They
Are you
kicked him off the
serious?
show. They kicked him off the show because they found he texted somebody during the thing, and that was one of the things. Is when you showed up on the show, they took all your electronics away.
That's a
'Cause you
fucking
were-
show in and of itself.
See, that shows you how strict it is. You know.
No, I think I'm gonna be dead honest with you.
Oh, I would say
think-
Gabriel's now. Then I'm gonna go. If we're going strictly now, network. Gabriel's is the top.
Gabriel's probably the top.
I go Gabriel.
I don't know. Never even met that guy. I saw him one time warm up for Premium Blend, and he came off stage, and I remember I was about to go on stage, and I was like, dude, I don't know I regret ever talking like this ever. I've done this twice. Once was to Gabriel Iglesias, and once was to Dave Chappelle. I said, dude, I don't care that you're warming up. I think you're funny as shit. I mean, I think if you stick with it, you'll get this next year. And he was like, I did this like 2 years ago. And I was like, oh, sorry. I was like, fuck. And then he was like, I'm warming up for my half hour. And I went, oh, okay. And then Dave Chappelle, first time I ever saw him, he blew me away. Fucking blew me away. And he was hammered. And I was at the Boston Comedy Club, and he came off stage, and I was like, man, I got to be honest with you. You should stick with this. I think you're really funny. I just started doing stand-up, and I remember Dave Chappelle was really kind. He was like, oh, thank you, and then walked away. And then someone was like, what did you say to Dave Chappelle? I was like, oh, you've heard of that guy? And he goes, you fucking kidding me? Men in Tights. And I went, oh, that's where I fucking recognize that guy from. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So okay, so Gabriel's number one, Ralphie's number two.
Yeah,
so there's
Ralphie
a
still
theme here. If you're
crushes it.
overweight
Yeah,
on
so-
Last Comic Standing, you're very successful.
Bring that show back.
Yeah, Amy Schumer can get overweight. She's holding it off. If she gains a lot of weight like Roseanne weight, we're talking about mega stardom for her.
Totally.
Yeah.
No, here's
don't know.
okay. Now, ready? Let's go back. Top 5 people you'd have sex with on Last Comic Standing.
Same list.
Yeah, same list. Definitely. If we want to keep, keep it going.
No, I'm trying to think who.
Well, Amy and
Bonnie.
Bonnie McFarlane.
Ooh, who was the couple years?
I'm not
ago?
saying anyone, because then if you don't say it, then you're like, if
It's
you say a
hard to
name,
remember.
then
There's
they're
so
like,
many people.
ooh, I would never have sex with that person. Then
Ant.
Yeah.
Who won the one before last? It was the girl.
Eliza.
Oh, Eliza.
Yeah.
Oh, Eliza's number 1.
There you
I'm
go.
putting Eliza number 1. I'm putting Amy number 2. And then
No, just any of the other ones. You're just imagining them that they.
Eliza's
are
done well. You know what I
Eliza's
mean?
done great.
That-
Yeah, Eliza's done great. Everyone
so the
does
girls, like a lot of the girls do well.
great. Do you get when you go do radio? Do they ask you about it?
Yeah, but I'm at that weird stage where, in case I've peaked, in case that was. Now listen, I do a lot of like corporate
In
events.
case I've peaked.
You know what I mean? Like,
That is the funniest fucking statement from a fucking 40-year-old comic. In case I've peaked.
So I do a lot of corporate events, so I could easily disappear, never be on television again, and still have a wonderful life and stuff like that. But now when people bring it up, it's people come up to me. They still go, "I voted for you so much." It's in their brain. They think it was just on, but it was on. I was on 7 years ago.
It was 8 years ago. It was
Yeah.
8 years ago. I only know that because Georgia was born the day it premiered. The day it premiered, I was on TV saying, I need this. I got a baby on the way.
Yeah.
And the doctor walked in the day it premiered. Georgia was born because we sat with Georgia in our bed in the hospital and watched us on TV. And I went, well, that's so crazy. And then the next week I went on the road with the Tell, and I was at the bar at the American Airlines bar, not a Bennigan's but the Chili's,
Right.
down by the gate. And I went up to have a drink, and someone goes, "Hey, it's Bert." And I was like, first time I ever got recognized, or doing stand up. And I was like, "Hey," and he goes, "Oh man, how do you?" Did you have the baby? And I go, yeah, yesterday. I still had the arm bracelet on. They're like, shut the fuck up. It's Bert. He just had the baby. 13 million people watched that. I remember that because that's the most that's ever watched me on anything. And the whole bar recognized me. The whole fucking bar. And everyone got me fucking liquored. I got so drunk for that flight.
I remember going to Vegas, and after Last Comic aired, I was one of before the house. It was just like the prelims or whatever. I was in Vegas at a bachelor party. And I was like, what the fuck's with all these dudes? Like, because it was the first time people were staring at me.
Yeah.
And so let's say the guy, recognized him, this fucking guy over here, why do he keep staring at me?
Yeah.
You're not realizing that I was on TV.
Oh,
and people would know me from.
That is the most uncomfortable thing when someone stares at you and you forget that you're on TV or you don't realize that that's why they're looking at you. First time I ever got recognized, it was from the X show. That was the first show I ever did. And John was one of the producers on it. And I'll never forget. I was going in, and it was so under the radar. Now, when you look at the numbers that it had, it's fun. It was a huge hit if it was on today. But back then, if you got a 1 or a 2, it was fucking no, cancel it. But I remember walking into a McDonald's, one on La Brea over by Santa Monica. I was walking into the McDonald's, and 4 Mexican guys recognized me and came charging at me, and I thought I was getting robbed. And I went, help, help! And they were like, the only other awkward time I've ever had than that, I wish this could be a bit. But it can't. So I was in Beverly Center, and I was going to play basketball, and I didn't know that you don't buy Air Jordans to play basketball in. I thought you apparently wear them for the club, but I bought Air Jordans, so I was like, they're the best basketball shoes. I'll wear these to play basketball. So I bought a pair of Air Jordans, and Kevin Hart, who's now extremely fucking successful, saw me in the mall. And he saw me walking out with a pair of Jordans. And he came up behind me as a joke and grabbed my bag and goes, give me them Jordans. And all I saw was his skin color, and I freaked out. And I was like, help, help, somebody, please. And Kevin saw the racism in my eyes, and he went, oh, Bert. And I went, hey, Kevin. It was so fucking uncomfortable. And it was like I completely panicked thinking some kid was stealing my Jordans. But yeah, Kevin's making a dickload of money.
Yeah.
Oh, I would. I
go through a phase where before you always wanted to be on TV. That was the thing. You wanted to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Now I'm going through a thing where I'm like, God, I have so many great ideas for other people I have this huge exit strategy. Not, you know what I mean? Where I just I want to create shows. I want to do it for all.
Well, that's
a young comic. He's 22. You know what? He'd be great for this idea I had when I was 22.
It sounds like what Al Madrigal and Bill Burr are doing. They've started that
do it. You have to
All Things Comedy Co-op, and it's basically a company that helps comics get up and running and making the next month. They called me on a lark one day. Al called me and was like, I have an idea for the Travel Channel, and he pitched it to me. I was like, holy shit, that's a better idea than I've ever had. And he was like, well, can you help facilitate it? Or I don't even know what he was saying, but he was telling me this idea. I fucking lost my mind. I was like, holy shit. But that is what every comic wants to do, is help other comics. When during the time of Project Red Light or Project Green Light, remember that? Yeah. I wanted to do a show for Comedy Central called Project Red Light, where you take a comic who you think's got all the tools, all the talent. You get the 4 best comics in the country, and you just teach him comedy, a crash course in getting to Montreal. He's got to get his 8 minutes tight from Montreal. You see an open mic, they see everyone, they pick their guy, and they form it. That would be great. You can sit with these comics these days. I do this every time, and I do it mostly because I drink too much, and I'm just hearing myself speak.
Yeah, I think I philosophize more than I should.
Yeah.
So now I just shut up. But sometimes you see a young guy, and you're like, dude, now I don't give advice, but I just question him. I go, let me ask you, why are you making those choices, on stage? What's this? Yeah. I just want to hear your motivation behind it. Well, I just want to be edgy. People want to, okay, that's great. But what's your business plan for that? You think that material were, you know what I mean?
You'd hear. I remember when I was young.
There's guys that are really dirty. There's like 4 or 5 guys that are uber dirty that ever got really famous, and the rest all disappear.
Yeah.
That's just mine.
That's 100% true.
That's why I've always been cleaner. Not because people are like, dude, you don't talk about real things. Yeah, I do. I talk about stuff people can relate to.
Yeah.
I don't need to be up there going, don't you want to fist your? I don't. That
I don't have
to
a
me
lot
that
of,
doesn't serve a greater purpose for what I like to do.
There was a genre of comics who genuinely came about their dirtiness honestly. They were the guys that started in New York back when New York was a little rough and edgy. It's like the Nortons
This
and
is the
Attels.
fake edge guys that get on stage and they're just angry about drive-thrus, and they're angry about it. I'm just like, so you're not being honest with yourself. You're like that. It's fake anger. Nobody's that pissed. You're not edgy.
I've never had an angry bit. I've never been angry. I have had bits that make me laugh harder than the audience that work really well because I'm laughing throughout them.
Yeah.
But then, and people just laugh when I laugh, but then when you start telling the bit for real, you're like, well, I don't find it funny anymore. I can't just fake laugh, you know?
Yeah.
Now, what percentage do you guys do new versus old? Like, you know how Louis does that thing every year, it's done.
I'm definitely not Louis and Bill. I'll tell you that right now.
He's an animal. He's an animal. But like,
I think it's easy to do that if you got a lot of coinage.
Yeah, I think
because the thing I always run into is when you're at an improv, let's say, and it's a Saturday show, you have to throw 98 miles an hour, or you've just pissed off people that spent $50 to see you. So I don't know
or
where
22.
No, but you know what I mean? Yeah, you don't charge 50, really?
No,
You don't get 80% of the door?
I think I definitely.
So
think
you have to bring it. You can't have a show where you go, here's my people like it, but first you got to perform.
I don't know. I like hearing classic bits.
I refurbish. I do bits I call refurbishing.
Yeah.
Where I'll take a bit of mine where the punchline, let's say I said it, and then the new bit, my wife says it. And you change up the scenario, but the beats are still there, and it seems new. People have busy lives; they don't remember everything that you said.
Yeah. When I was younger, I was writing a lot more. Now I write. I'm writing a lot right now, but I definitely went through. Like right now, I was just in Denver and in Tampa, and I would say, I'm gonna.
How often you go back to a city?
Once a year.
Just once.
Once, except for Columbus. I said to Stroop, I want to start going back there like more often. So
there's some like I go back to Denver every 6 months.
Really?
Because they have their 2-room or whatever, and it stresses me. Like the second I get done and I get paid.
Oh, you do the Comedy Works?
I'm like, oh man, I'm already stressed that I have nothing new to say when I come back. And
I did that in Tampa one year. I came back and I think I came back too soon, and I didn't have enough new material. But now I've gotten to a place where I'd say 50% of the show is new stuff, 50% is old stuff. But I got to tell like. Some bits people are calling out.
But if you look at the audience, a guy like me, 80% of the people in that audience, it's pretty egotistical to think that they see you every time.
Yeah, that was
so
my question.
80% of the audience hasn't seen you in years.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it is all new to them. So then, you have a new base where you go, well, I'd like to do. There's bits of mine that I do that I'm like, I'm doing every show for the rest of my life because I enjoy doing them. I don't care.
I only write for me because I go because
it's too hard to figure out.
If I'm doing my same act, for me I just get bored. Like the carrot cucumber joke, I have to want to tell that in order to tell it. Because if I just tell it, the worst feeling I get on stage is if I'm done some bit and I go, all right, it's time to close up, and then I go, I could tell these 2 and then get off. I hate that feeling because you can tell my rate of utterance raises, and I just power through the bit. And like, I hate when it feels like a bit. I like when you handcraft a show.
I hate that about your show.
Thank you. I like when you handcraft a show for an audience. You go up, you start talking to the crowd, you incorporate interactions into a bit, you ask questions that you don't know where they're going, but you have an answer for. You find something real and make it real. Like, I love those moments. I always love those. And I also like trying to craft a new bit. Like, I'm working on this stuff.
I only write on stage. I've never written a joke in my life. Sit down at my computer.
I've never written a joke.
I've only done it on stage.
I've written a joke like yesterday. I wrote a joke because Georgia and Isla, Georgia had her piano recital, and it was fucking. There was just so many comedy things. My dad fell asleep. It's 20 kids. It's based on talent. Like and Georgia was number 3 in the lineup. If that gives you any hint of how much we've wasted on piano. The kid before her played fucking chopsticks. So and then the last kid, man,
The closer.
fucking ripped it.
Asian?
It's Christmas. It's Christmas theme. I'm looking at the thing, and Leanne hits me and points to the last one. Kids, the whole thing. They've all been preparing for this Christmas recital. This kid plays Bohemian Rhapsody.
Wow.
Hold on.
You have it on there?
I fucking taped him. He's not even my kid. He came up with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar glasses on. Like he clearly
He
had
thought it out.
Well, he didn't even look at the music. He didn't even look at the fucking music. This kid
I just
is a
imagine that
monster.
kid's like tired, falling asleep, and his
No.
dad is just like, "You will play more.
He's
You
passionate.
will play more."
This is a fucking 8-year-old. Are you ready?
Not bad for an 8-year-old.
I don't know.
I
Dislike.
Galileo.
I can't think of a worse experience than having to set through a children's talent show.
I can. It's called a dance recital. A dance recital is worse. No, but you got to do those as a parent. Like you got to do them. But when you have a kid, you're gonna have to go to the recitals, and dance recitals suck because everyone's bad. Even the best student is still bad. Like no one's a good. Even you take me to a ballet where people are making hundreds of $1,000s doing it, and I still don't want to watch it.
Exactly.
Let alone do I want to watch kids fucking slop around like drunk chicks on spring break on stage dressed in turkey costumes, and then.
Right.
But man, a piano recital. You start going like, oh, I know this song. Like, oh, this is badass. So this poor one girl went up and just fucking destroyed, hacked up Frosty the Snowman. So much so that my youngest daughter was like, Daddy, is she trying to play Frosty the Snowman? I was like, yeah, baby.
Did anybody do Little Drummer Boy?
No.
I would play
that
Silent
song.
Night.
No, it's a piano recital, not drums. Like,
Yeah, that's all that's in the Little Drummer Boy. Is nothing but drums.
it made me want to play the piano. I would
That's
love.
the longest, slowest Christmas song. I can't stand it.
Oh, they played the Peanuts. Christmas time.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good one. I like that.
The I made me want to learn how to play a piano. How great would a piano recital be if a 40-year-old man went up with a cocktail
That I would watch.
and basically tried to pound through like Frosty the Snowman just with a bunch of 8-year-olds.
Dude, that's
Wait,
that's
what do you have? What are you pulling up?
It's a piano. It's a piano app.
A piano app?
Here. Let's see. I'm gonna try to hold this. I'll try to play. Ready? Put this. Ready? Wait.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like you're playing Guitar Hero
But it's for the piano.
on your iPhone,
That was
though.
first Noel for everybody who listens.
First,
All right, wow.
was it?
Yeah,
Was
it
it?
was.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
That was good.
That would be great.
Now
if your
imagine
iPhone-
45 minutes of that, by the way,
You
and
do
that's
that
what it's like.
sitting next to you on a plane. The first.
What about we do that for our infomercial? If we tie it back to the very first thing we're talking about, we all do. It would be called Dad's Recitals, and we'll just make dads actually learn how to play piano, dance, and their kids.
Oh, wait, Dad Recital is a great
and
fucking.
they'll just make dads have to do stuff together.
Dad Recital is a great premise because I would love to. That's a fucking great premise. Where's a moneymaker inside you, John? Like you're
Yeah, but it's everything. I've done some stuff that have whatever.
really. You had a board game.
I had a card game, yeah, that did that.
I pitched
did
it.
well.
I only know that because I pitched a TV show at the same time as that board
At the
game.
That Guy game.
That guy.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And then you were on radio with Danny Bonaducci.
Yeah.
How you should write a book.
I'm working on one right now.
Don't work on one. Get a book deal first.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm writing it first and then gonna try because I'm not famous enough to get a deal.
Write a treatment. Write a
And get
treatment.
paid to do it because I was gonna
Yes.
do it all on Amazon myself.
No.
and-
You want the marketing dollars behind you that, like, say, a St. Martin's
Yeah.
has. Like, you want a publisher to walk you through and teach you how to write a book. You want him to give you notes. You want to take his notes and apply them. Like, I wrote the machine story for my publisher for my book. My book's coming out. I don't know when. The next year, and I wrote the machine story. He was like, "This is absolutely fantastic. This would make it better." And I was like, "Wow." And I was like, "Look, I have a problem with the machine story because it's a true story, and I want to make sure I'm married to the truth. I don't ever want to. And he goes, no, I'm not asking you to change the story. I'm telling you, tell me what happened then. Tell me what happened here. Why did you choose to do this? Explain how you got into. Like, it just seems ridiculous that they'd introduce you to gangsters, and then you start really kind of milking these stories, and you're like, man,
Wow,
it does,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, like, and then next thing you know, it's like he's like, can you write a story about being a dad? And I'm like, I don't know, is that? And he's like, no, but like a partying dad. When was a time when you partied too much, but you were also a dad at the same time? And I was like, oh, I got a great story. I write it, and he's like, this is fucking amazing. Like, it's
Right.
You need a publisher. So what you do is you write an intro synopsis. I have Jim. Probably shouldn't tell you who I have, but I have. Oh, fuck it. I have Jim Norton's. Someone sent it to me, and they were like, this is the one that Jim wrote to get his first book. I'm sure a publisher sent it to me, or his publisher, and I read it, and it was fucking amazing. It's Jim going, I don't want to write a book. I have no idea how I'm going to write a book. I've got a meeting that I've got to go meet with this woman about my book, but I really want to jack off. I want to check out porn. Like, it's just Jim. It's really Jim.
Right,
and then he writes like 3 stories. It's an intro, like maybe it's 40 pages tops. It's an intro, like 7-page intro, double space, and then it's like 3 examples of the stories you'll have in there.
And do you get money? I guess when you do it, like, there's different ways. Because you get money up front.
You get money up
and
front.
And then they got to make back all their whatever.
Yeah, and so
But you get money up front.
You get money up front to write it. So then you.
And like when you have a publisher, like for a first-time writer, when you're not established, that's where you're going to make money selling it. They're going to put it out there, get your name out there. They're going to get you on the Today Show.
By the way, you know what Jim Brewer told me about his book?
Jim Brewer's book's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I fucking love Jim Brewer's book.
Yeah. And he told me this little trick. When you go to clubs, if you sell your book at the club, you don't sell it. You don't get boxes, and you get the local book guy to show up, and he sells your books, but that all counts on your bestseller list.
Oh,
so now you're selling 200 books a weekend that is getting recorded, opposed to you selling it out of a suitcase.
I told Joey Diaz.
And then at the end of the month, now you just sold an extra 2,000 books that are on,
There's a great app that I heard Greg Fitzsimmons talk about on his podcast, and I told Joey Diaz to get that Joey got because Joey wants to write a book. It's called Dragon Dictate, where you just put on a headset and you just talk through the book. And I definitely I'm not writing my book that way because I drink, and apparently Dragon Dictate can't translate my drunk
Here's how you
talking.
do it. I have a service that I use. It's a disabled vet. It's called 24-hour transcription.
Yeah.
$13 for 45 minutes. So every week I record my sets and I upload it, and then I get 40, 50 pages of every word I said on stage sent back to me.
So why is it
$13 to transcribe 45 minutes?
Yes.
Or every 45 minutes he gets $13?
No, $13 for 45 minutes of transcription.
Wow,
so
that's
you can talk you could talk
and this
out
guy's
your
a
book.
disabled vet?
Yeah,
great.
and then you
Yeah,
upload
fucking
it,
great.
and then everything you just talked comes back written, so you don't have to worry about the program.
Someone needs to tell Joey about that because I'm going to just tape record him when I go have coffee with him. I'm just going to tape record him,
No.
and then I'll send it to him, and then I'm going to give it to him as a Christmas present. I go, here's your book. I'll be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And you helped us with some disabled vet.
That's how I was going to do my book. Is I already have the 10 chapters, and then we're going to talk out because my book, the chapter before, doesn't have to do anything with this, so it's all separate.
Yeah,
'Cause I want a good,
here's
I want
the
a good
thing, here's the
bathroom
thing.
reading book. So you
Okay,
sit down every time
yes,
you're taking a
but-
shit. And you,
But there's, yes, I agree. My goal. I read Brewer's book, and I was like, I love it because not every chapter connects with the chapter before, but some do, and those are the ones that keep me reading. Is when I'm like. When I finish a chapter, I'm like, wait, this girl fucking died? Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then I flip to the next page, and so my goal in my book, and I don't know, right now I'm writing it that way. That's the way I'm writing it. My goal is to try to marry it all into one book that's fucking just a really great book.
Yeah.
And then, but here's the best part. This is the best part of this, is that you get a book deal, and then once you get a book deal, then everyone's like, whoa, he's writing a book? You all of a sudden become real. You haven't even written the fucking book. You haven't even written the book.
Exactly.
And then you can go into
You're
meetings, and you're like, and they're like, Bert got a book deal over at St. Martin's, and they're like, oh, that's fucking fascinating. So wait, can we read some? And I'm like, well, I'll give you and I give you the best one I have. And then they're like, and then a company wants to buy The Machine Story as a movie. So you're like, huh, because you have a book deal. You haven't even fucking written the book. Now you got a movie deal. You haven't even written a movie. And you're like, fuck yeah. Then who wants a sitcom? I just motherfucker right here. I want a fucking sitcom.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. This fucking business is so bullshit. It's
Yeah,
all
that's
about
fun.
making people believe.
and it's all going to start with our infomercial.
It's all
Our infomercial is going to be how to sell a book and never have to write it.
I heard a story about a friend of ours
Put together a program.
who I know very well, and I know his career trajectory, and I heard someone talking about him, and I went, that is not how that happened at all. But it is kind of. It's just they're leaving out key facts.
Right.
It's all perception sometimes in this business, not with our fans and not with like the but it's all perception. We were talking about that, how Joey lives next door to me. And
Right.
and now everyone knows that because we've talked about it on the podcast that Joey and I are next door neighbors. Like, it's so bizarre. And like Ari's 2 streets over. Duncan lives like
Weird. Everybody's like in this.
Everyone
same,
lives
like,
on the same
like,
block.
Compound.
Yeah, and we're like 5 minutes from Joe's house. Like, it's really crazy.
I feel sorry for like the random neighbors, like that older chick that lives in between.
The girl that was on Roseanne.
Yeah.
She lives.
And she's got a deal.
No, the mom, her sister.
Roseanne?
Her sister. No, her sister.
What you guys should do is you guys should get on the roof and just like yell across to each other.
Willie Garson from Sex and the City lives on this street. Like, this is a really aggressive street.
It's almost like Historia Lane,
Yeah.
but with not hot chicks, but just older comics.
Obviously,
that
everyone
like to get
understands
drunk.
that we're fucking joking because some people are like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" No, but that's the weird thing of perception. It's so fucking crazy because Joey and I are neighbors, but we're not next door neighbors. But we're close enough that we run into each other all the time. And like
Ari told us a story. Ari Shafir, when he was on me and Reep's podcast about him dating the Struthers chick from
Sally Struthers,
from Family Ties.
Tina Yothers.
Yothers.
Tina Yothers.
So there was a big rumor going on that Ari dated her forever, and he would have girls call and say it was her. And then on our podcast, he said, I was completely lying about it. But everybody thought.
I tweeted.
So me and Reep made up one on ours that his ex-roommate was Eric Stokes, who played a mask, and he was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
We just, every episode, we would just kind of start talking about that just to start like
I had
random
to stop.
rumors like
I had to
that.
stop doing that. I had to stop doing that because Doug Benson texted me or asked me. He goes, "So you partied with J-Lo and Meryl Streep?" And I was like, "What?"
I remember that.
And I was like, I was in the American Airlines lounge and I was trying to tweet and I couldn't think of anything to tweet and it was early and I was drinking. And,
after the Oscars,
it was
right?
the day after the Oscars and there were a lot of people from the Oscars. Like the first class lounge was packed because it was all people from the Oscars. And I tweeted, "Holy shit, how crazy! Meryl Streep and J-Lo are in the corner talking." And all of a sudden, you know it's bad when your phone starts going ding, 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 and then everyone's like, "Oh my god, like what are they what are they doing? What are they?" And so I was like, "All right, I'm gonna send over a bottle of champagne and congratulate Meryl Streep for winning the Oscar." So I said, and I tweeted that, and then I was like, "Holy shit, what are the odds? I'm doing Boilermakers with Meryl Streep and J-Lo at 8 a.m. in the first class lounge." And I want to say it's Doug Benson. I hate saying.
I think it was Benson because I heard you guys talking about it.
He was like, "So wait, what was it like partying with Meryl Streep and J-Lo?" And I was like, I didn't. And it sucks when you it's one of the reasons I try to stay as true to the story on stage about my stories, because when you let in the fact that you're like when people find out there's any bit of a lie, they fucking lose faith in you. Yeah. Like I saw Doug look at me and go, "Oh." And I went, "What?" And he goes, "I thought that was going to be a cool story." And I was like, "No." I was like, "What do you think I was drinking with Meryl Streep?" And he goes, "You robbed a fucking train in Russia." So yeah, I actually did kind of think you were partying with Meryl Streep and J-Lo.
Every time I'm at the American Lounge, I always want to write a note and tape it and hide it and then let you know coordinates and where the secret drop is. Because we have the same, every time I go to American Lounge, there's a bartender there. He's there Carl, right?
Carl.
He's
and
there.
now Carl's hours got chopped.
Yeah.
So
Carl's there at 5 a.m. And when I go in there, the guy wipes on the thing and goes, "Bert was just in here 2 days ago. He's on his way."
He always says, "I just saw Heffron."
Yeah. And then I go, "Well, tell him." Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going to start like the Mossad. I'm going to start hiding messages and go, "Bert, it's underneath where they sell oatmeal."
One of the most awkward interactions I've ever had with Carl is I walked in with Leanne to go on vacation. And I walked in at like 6 a.m. and Carl goes, "All right, I can start serving you in 30 minutes, Bert." And she went, "The bartender knows your name?" And I was like, "Oh, I come here a lot."
That's hysterical.
So, but I see Marin in there. I saw Marin in there a couple times. He's always on the computer.
I would see,
checking his Libsyn numbers.
Yeah.
How many people do you think download this podcast? A lot, right?
Oh, it's got to be just crazy amount.
I like.
I
It's so
know.
funny to watch the transgression of a podcast. Like Joe's started with, and I say this. I remember them just sitting on the couch doing a UStream and reading tweets and replying to the tweets,
Yeah.
and then they started just talking, and then they started smoking. I'm sure they were smoking weed the whole time, and now it's turned into this absolutely fantastic kind of like it's an interview show. I never knew I've listened to some things and I'm like, how did he know I'd be interested in this? Like, I didn't even know I had an interest in
It's weird how
fucking
podcasts kind
Bigfoot.
of go. You find that like when me and Reeps, we don't have guests on just because we travel so much.
So smart.
But we just try to be like lighthearted. So we like play games, like almost like a morning radio show would.
Yeah.
We don't get overly because there's so many guys that do stuff so well.
Yeah. I like Marin's is
Although, is it weird that I get a little jealous that I've never been on his show? Like I
Who,
look
Marin's?
at Marin's and I see
No.
all the comics that are on there, and I'm like,
it's just, but it's not. There's
you
no.
know what's weird
Like, I would
is
have guessed you've done it.
I would have guessed you'd done it too.
no, he won't have me on. I think I've had a publicist try to reach out and whatever, but I'm also not in there. There's a lot of comedy cliques that I do not belong. I'm not part of
Yeah.
because I've always been by myself.
There's a
I
lot.
started in Detroit, so I wasn't a New York or
I just
guy.
I just knew.
I wasn't an alternative person, so
I wasn't on Marin's based on by any merit or anything. Just making sure we're still recording. I wasn't based on any merit. I was just based because we had done a TV show together. I was on his TV show twice, and one of the girls that was hosting it was a girl I had done was Daphne Brogdon, who, by the way, I'm going to bring the X show back, and we're going to do the X show in here. Daphne Brogdon, Craig J. Jackson. I can't get a hold of Gary Valentine, but can you produce an old segment for us?
Yeah, I'll produce an old segment.
And then we'll do it. We'll host
I
it.
probably have old scripts.
Why
You
can't you
do
get a
word
hold
for
of him?
word.
Because Gary's fucking.
He
Gary,
won't call you back?
No, not at all. But Gary's just is like he's like the Yeti. He disappears and then
I can get a hold of him.
I don't have his number. Yeah,
one person away
yeah.
from him.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna Okay, cool. I'll get that from you. So what was I saying before that? So I had done a show with Marin and we talked about Daphne and we had a connection and then I ran into him like right after and I was good friends with his ex-wife and so I ran into him repeatedly and then I kept seeing him and I would definitely say I was one of the first subscribers to WTF and I told him how much I liked it and I started saying to him like, hey, can you bring on this guest? Like I wanted I forget the guy's name now, but I wanted like road comics that I'd see on the road that I'd always heard about, and he did one. He brought the guy on. He was like, Kreischer said I gotta have you on, and the guy's like, who the fuck's Kreischer? And Marin goes, exactly. Yeah. So but Marin's kind of changed a lot because initially he always wanted to have comics on, but I remember him doing ones where he was just by himself, and then he interviewed but his changed a lot, and now it's this great fucking. I don't know why Comedy Central hasn't put that on as a TV show.
He's got an IFC show.
Yeah.
Oh, it does?
It's like a sitcom version.
Clearly, I haven't listened.
Yeah, so
in
you
a
start
couple
going to
weeks.
different podcasts for different things. Like I listen to Mark's because he kind of gets deep with the comics, but he
Yeah.
also likes certain types of comics. So you can kind of see where that, let's say, alternative-y kind of view.
Yeah, but he brings on people he doesn't like. Like he definitely brings on people he doesn't like, and he calls them on their shit. And
then Rogan's is a certain way. I listen to his,
Yeah.
because you get your knowledge on, and even
here's
I don't know
here's my
Duncan,
podcast.
but I listen to him.
Oh, I love fucking Duncan.
like,
Let me tell you
all
something.
the time.
Duncan's one of the few people that can do that first minute, that first rant getting into the podcast brilliantly. Like
Yeah.
it's very tough to do.
That's the only thing I don't like about Duncan.
Are you
And
serious?
I love Duncan.
Yeah.
Love Duncan.
I love Duncan's because I literally sit there and I'll lay in bed on the road with the lights out and listen to him going, welcome, people of the universe that all transcend into the same space and technical. Yisha Rani said, and I love when he goes, and then he'll do a chant. I fucking love him.
I don't know. Sometimes it just go I think he's great, and I listen to every episode. But a lot of times I forward past that first 10 minutes.
Yeah. That's what
It just
people
gets
go.
a little long.
People go, what, Bert, what's your podcast going to be? I go, basically, it's me talking about podcasts.
Yeah,
and money.
Yeah, you got a niche.
I know.
Yeah.
I
You
told
should just
you.
call yours Bert Kreischer's What'd you make doing that? Should be the name of your podcast. What'd you make? And it's all money conversations. Like, what do you
Yeah.
get paid? What do you get paid your first special? Like,
I love
how much you
the-
make in CD sales? You
I love the
think?
gossip of comedy. I told someone, I don't forget who I told this to. I don't remember. Maybe I've said this on another podcast.
Or,
but,
or call it, don't quote me on this.
Yeah. Let's see who our caller is. Is there a phone floating around here? Ooh. Not answering that.
Did you hear
It's the back office saying,
the Shelley Berman episode of
No.
Mark Maron? You know who Shelley Berman is?
I saw him at the mall.
Oh, is that old comic?
Yeah, he's an old comic. I think he played
Lucy Liu?
Larry's dad on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about this guy. And he plays the album. Like, he was the first comic.
He was the first guy to do
win
the.
a Grammy and go.
Really?
He was the first guy who did the phone stuff.
Yeah, Bob Newhart ripped him off
Yeah.
completely.
Really?
And they talk about this, and like Newhart would go. I mean, Shelley would come to a club and say, "Hey, Newhart's doing your act," and
Yeah.
Newhart admits it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I just saw him
fucked
at
up,
the
man.
mall yesterday. The
Crazy.
Shelley
That's
Berman
so
guy we're
good.
talking about.
I'm so bothered by any amount of what I perceive, and that's a swinging door, but what I perceive as phoniness. Like, if I find my heart's broken the second, like, that's fucking.
Yeah, I always thought that was Newhart's bit. I always thought it was, and it's not. And Shelley was remarkably calm about it. Like, he was pissed, but
Like, I think
like
a
it
lot
just
of guys
happened.
back then did talking on the phone. Like, that was their style of comedy back then.
God damn. That's,
You know, like, and there's always
Yeah.
different. There's whatever era you're in. It's like guys from the UK all have animal bits.
really.
Like, it's all like
do.
their bit will take place with some tiger in the jungle. Like, everybody has
Yep.
a crazy
Really?
animal bit. Yeah, it's
bizarre.
Yeah, it's weird.
Every you know, now it seems like now I feel
You
like
can categorize almost every
Yeah.
comic. Like, you can, you know, as
wanna get-
egotistical as we, you know, like when I see, you know, guys, I'm going to talk about pot for
Yeah.
45 minutes. Here's something you would do. Here's how it would be different if
Yeah.
I was on pot. We get it. But and you're going to do the I remember some guy wrote something about me going, John never lets the crowd down, not overly groundbreaking is what the thing. Okay, but like five,
You
like,
don't want to be overly groundbreaking.
No.
I don't, yeah.
but it was
What
like
the fuck?
five really positive things about me and one thing not groundbreaking. And I was like,
Not
fuck
overly
this guy.
groundbreaking.
I'm groundbreaking. And then
not overly groundbreaking.
and then I'm listening to a bit on this thing with Richard Jenny, like,
Yeah.
and I hadn't heard the bit, and it was literally like 5 minutes of something I've been doing about my wife, because Richard Jenny had so much hilarious relationship
I'll never listen
stuff.
to him. I never listen to him. I don't want to know
No,
if I'm doing
you don't.
something.
And I was so bummed. I'm like,
Oh.
I thought that was. I didn't even know.
A guy
Oh,
very innocently said to me, I have this new bit that's fucking been murdering about how I felt single as opposed to how I feel now, and how when I was single I was this beautiful stallion sprinting on a mountaintop and just I knew my own power and I looked gorgeous, and my wife was this disease settler that looked up on the mountain, and then ultimately it's this analogy that you get into and it's been doing so fucking well, and I'm like sitting at a bar and I'm writing down what I just done, and the guy goes, man, I love your stallion bit, but it's real close to Patrice's shark bit. And I was like, what? And as second he said that, I went, oh my God, it's almost identical. How Patrice said, you know, when it's just a different, it's an animal, and it's a different animal. But Patrice was like, when you were a shark, you were a hunter, and then now your wife doesn't want you to hunt, your girl doesn't want you to hunt, but you're a fucking shark, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to stop doing it. The guy goes, no, it's not the same bit, and I go, but it's close enough in nature that I
But
lose
you could
it.
take that. I could take that even back one further, and this is where it never ends. We could probably do this into the 20s
Yeah.
or 30s. Larry Miller has a bit about riding a horse when you're single, and he does an analogy how you're riding it, like, and then as you get things, then it becomes. But so you can
Yeah.
either go. Now we've just found a guy in the 80s who did.
So it doesn't count. Like, it doesn't count if you have a shared concept. I mean, there's going to be, but
Parallel thoughts.
I think as a
it's
comic,
parallel thoughts,
okay,
but I
like,
definitely heard Patrice do that analogy. I definitely heard it. It was on Maron's WTF. I definitely heard him do that analogy. I had distinctly come up with the stallion analogy well before this. I came up with that when I was single. Me and my buddy Croy, we thought of that. That is, and I didn't even see the connection when he said the shark thing. I just started doing the stallion thing because I got a good end to it about eating carrots, and now you're sitting in a fucking barn eating hay, and it's just I got a good end to it, and I was like,
You know
But
what I'm worried about? I have so much stuff in my act about being in your 40s and just the different stages of life. From when I compare stuff that happens in your 20s and I tie it all in that young guys can learn from older guys. It's a thing that my whole act's been based around forever. And now this movie's coming out called So You're in Your 40s or This Is Your 40s. And I read a review, like, it makes some good points. And all the points that are in this movie, I'm like, motherfucker.
wait, you want to?
Those are like, so I'm not even going to see the fucking movie, man.
One step
See,
further.
you should send that review that to the reviewer and say, "Look, I'm groundbreaking."
Yeah. I
overly
did this,
groundbreaking.
20 years. But yeah.
So
And now, so somebody's going to see that movie that isn't even out yet, and then they're going to see me and go, oh, yeah, that's just like the movie. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Seth Rogen did expect the baby movie, the baby, whatever it is. And I was afraid to see it because I was afraid that his childbirthing thing was going to be like mine. And then I realized, whoa, hold on, everyone had childbirth the exact same way. We've all had the exact same way. Every comic that's seen it probably witnessed the exact same peaks that I did. It's just I never saw anyone do it, and I just told it on stage, and I was like, all right, that's mine, and then I closed my ears. The other thing I will say, this is ready for this. So, like, the one thing I do now that I go, all right, a joke that is going to be in my act has to be specific. I don't write jokes anymore. It's specific me.
For you.
It's me telling a story about me and my life and what happened. Everything is down to the 100% honesty. Whereas, like, when I now tell the story about Isla shaving her face on stage, people go, I remember that tweet. Like it's got to be real. So I start getting I go to a meeting the other day with this guy, and they asked me to tell the Machine story, and I tell the Machine story, and he's like, you know who the Machine is, right? And I went, no. And he's like, well, there's like 9 machines. And I was like, what? And it's like Brian Wilson, a pitcher for the Giants, has a guy named the Machine who's in whatchamacallit. The fucking Albert Pujols is the Machine. That's what he calls himself. Bernard Hopkins has trademarked the thing, I am the Machine. Like, everyone's the fucking Machine. And I thought of this name when I was 22 years old in college, but now there's a bunch of machines, and I'm like, son of a bitch. So far as I pitched a show to John a long time ago that we ended up doing. I said it's called The White Gorilla. It's about this gorilla that moves to, this will bring it full fucking circle, about a gorilla who moves to Hollywood and wants to get into the entertainment business, and he gets a roommate, but he's a white gorilla, so he's never experienced anything. So it's real fish out of water, but he's also a gorilla. So he's
no filter.
No filter, and he's got these fucking gorilla instincts of like freaking out, and
Right.
And we're like, great. So we start writing scripts, and we start working on it and hashing it out. And then I get a call from John. He's like, are you watching Last Comic Standing? And I was like, no, what? And he goes, there's a fucking gorilla, a white gorilla on the show. Right. And I went, what? Cut. I turn it on, and there's a fucking gorilla doing stand-up talking about just coming in. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, John, please know that I've never seen a gorilla act in my life. I had bought the website, thankfully. I sent everyone, I felt so guilty. I had bought the website the night I thought of the idea. I bought thewhitegorilla.com, and I bought it like 3 Thanksgivings ago. So it was like so well into the clear, but I was like, what are the fucking odds I'd come up with a show that with a gorilla, and then there's a guy on Last Comic Standing dressed in a fucking gorilla outfit doing his act. Like, well, it's really tough coming to L.A. as a gorilla. And I'm like, oh, my God, that's my fucking idea.
Yeah, I saw I don't know if I want to say this because I don't know if I want to.
Do you want to say it and then I can take it out?
No. Here's the thing that
okay, here, be silent for a second. Okay, now if I need to take it out, I can.
That's why I'm coming out with this book, and I'm doing it pretty fast. I do for a lot of specials, even if you go a couple CDs ago. My big thing that I always do, and then I write underneath this kind of heading, is I look at young guys and I tell them, whatever you're experiencing now, you kind of tend to think you're the first guy to ever do it. That's just something about being in your 20s. You go, boy, no dude's ever ran this game on a chick. And then I talk about, yes, we all have. You're not the first people to ever. So look at it this way. When I talk about stuff you're not ready for yet, I'm on the same road as you. I just left a little bit earlier. I'm 42, married. I come to you from the future.
Yeah.
Right? And that gets a laugh, and then I do. All the stuff falls underneath that title.
Yeah.
There's a comic, did a special, used to work with me. He goes to young girls I've seen your future. And he came up to me and goes, you know what I did? I just took the young guys version. I know you talk about this, but I just took their, like, these guys are my future.
He came up and said that?
Yeah, and he's and it's one of those things where I go, I should have beat him. Like, it's one of those things where
you can't say his name, can you?
No, where you handle
something.
something.
Can you tell me, like, just like this?
Nah.
You're gonna tell me.
I'm gonna tell you.
Well, I don't want to start shitting on the guy horribly, and I fucking know him.
But would you be pissed off?
I'd be yes. I've had yes.
Yeah,
I would be
totally
pissed off. I would be pissed off, but I'm a very
But it is a different point of view. But it's blatantly.
Yeah, I would be pissed. I would be pissed.
Yeah.
I would be very pissed, and I would be like, can't do that. I remember going into.
And he knows when he sees me, you could see in his eye.
I know. I'm gonna go fucking online, going.
He
God,
knows.
in the future. There was a
Well, you'll get me when you do that.
I used to go to a club in Amarillo, and I remember I had like 9 or 10 like really good, because I was so bombing so much at the time. Not bombing, but struggling on stage, that I had like 9 or 10 really great struggle lines to get me out. I had a great thing when a phone rang. I would go, no, don't worry about it. I go, this is our show. Answer your phone. Tell them to call them right back. And so I'd continue on to the show. When the girl went, hello, I'd go, get back in the car and suck my dick, bitch. You're not on the phone. I'm paying you to suck this dick, not talk to your friends. And she'd be like, hi. I go, no, put the dick in your mouth. You put it in your mouth. You give me the phone. And then I try to grab her phone. I'm like, listen, she's sucking my dick. And I would do that, and it worked so fucking well. That was one thing, and then the other thing was like a bunch of.
Right.
Well, I came back to this club, and all the open micers were doing my bomb lines, because it was a tough club.
Oh.
And I was like, and I didn't know what to say, and I was like, oh, wow, like that was the number one reason. I was like, if I can get to the place where I can bring someone to work with, that would be great. I just don't want to bring someone so I know that all my material that I'm working on, someone doesn't. Sometimes people can see you working on a bit, and they can write it a little quicker, and then they take it on stage. You're like, whoa, you just took my bit and made it better. Like, you're not allowed to do that.
You ever work with guys where they do that the week you're working with them?
Yep.
I had a feature guy that I was like, hey, work with me. And the whole, before you knew it, it was, so I'm getting older. My wife, like, where'd that shit come from? I haven't seen you do that. And suddenly by Saturday.
Oh, it's fucking exhausting.
Or they'll take a word. Let's say, let's say you have a joke where you go, white gorilla. I'm just making it up. And they haven't said it. And then their next show, like, I'm at the zoo. I'm like, and seeing this white gorilla, and like, what, motherfucker?
Worse than that is when you see a guy. I worked with a guy distinctly, and this happened, where he went up.
And then you don't know if they're doing it just to fuck with you. That's why every once in a while, the nice guy image, you gotta go. I gotta throw something in this green room.
I worked with a guy one time who goes up and murdered, and then I went up after him and murdered even harder, and it bothered his ego. It bothered his ego that I could follow him. So the next night, he goes up and he does. Parts of his act, he does his act, but then he does his version of what I'm doing. He just, like, I remember at the time I was like, I would go like, I'd be like, where are all the Mexicans at? And then or whatever it was. I don't think that was the thing I said, but I would talk about race specifically. And so he would go and he would do whatever I did before I did it, so that then if I brought it up, it was like, looked like I was rehashing his old joke. But it was like, didn't even have a joke. He just brought up the premise of it. And so that when I brought it up later, and I was like, motherfucker. And so what I'd do, and then he'd like hold as a pause. He'd be like, thank you. As a feature. So what I'd do is I'd get on stage. This is at the old, I don't even want to say where it was, because the guy will know where it was. But it was the old Orlando Improv, where they had an upstairs. Yeah. And I'd go, guys, keep it going for this guy. Keep it going for this guy. He was so great. Guys, seriously. He's up there. He can hear you right now. Louder. Everybody louder. On your feet. Bring him out one more time. And I'd bring him out. And I go, come on down. Get on stage with me. Come on. Now, this is my room right now. This is my room. I'm creating this. He has nothing to do with it. I am mocking him in my head, going, come on down the stairs. And I brought him on stage. I go, you were so fucking funny. Do like 10 more minutes. I hand him the mic, and he was like, well. And I grabbed him. I go, get the fuck back in the green room. And he went back in the green room, and I was like, fucking gee. And he was, and said gentleman had a skin issue, and I fucking would bring that up every fucking night. I fucking hated that guy.
You ever see those guys that are like, oh, what? Is that the light? How much time have I, like,
yeah.
Features?
It looks like they're giving me the light.
I guess, guys, I gotta go.
Fuck
they want me to, no, stay. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like you're giving me a little early
Those guys,
tonight.
and if you're new to comedy and you're hosting and someone ever says, as my intro, just say he gets standing ovations all the time. Never, that bugs the shit out of me. I've had people like say that as intros.
His intro is, the guy's this next guy, fucking, I hate pandering standing ovations. I've gotten maybe 2 or 3 standing ovations, and then you go to a place and they're like, you get standing ovations every time. I'm like, what? How the fuck is that possible?
Because
I
they
fucking
say
rip it.
They say it as their intro. If you go, hey, the guy all the time, you've put it in their head that people stand up. That's how they get them all the time.
I hate this is going to be one episode because I could fucking easily cut this into 2.
What drives me nuts?
Please, tell me.
Why don't you tell us that on the next episode? That's a teaser right there.
No, it's great for like coming from a writer standpoint. From on shows, I'll work on shows, and then there'll be, a PA or somebody who's not a writer who will get a joke on, which I'm all for.
Yeah.
But then you hear them later, they say they wrote on that show. And you see sometimes they're comics, and they're like, he was a writer on, and you're like, no, he wasn't. Like that drives me nuts. And I know it shouldn't because it doesn't take away from me what I did. But I'm like, it's not right.
Yeah, that kind of drives me nuts. That there's a lot of shit that drives me nuts. But here's
how much stuff do you tell? I think I was maybe on Rogan's podcast, and I said something about like what I have features. Whatever, and he kind of gave me shit for controlling acts in front of me because Rogan is so he just gets up and lets whatever happen.
Rogan's a very different beast than any comic you're ever going to meet on the fucking road.
Yeah,
not only does he,
but he made me kind of got in my head a little bit where I was then thinking maybe because I get pissed when I was working with these guys who do a lot of sound cues, like music.
Yeah,
that would piss me off. And talking to the crowd, especially when you're doing 20 minutes as a comic, there's not time for you to take a drink.
Yeah.
So like I just did 20 minutes on the Just for Laugh tours. Me, Brewer, Deb DiGiovanni, and Godfrey. So we all did like 20 minutes, and then I haven't done that much time or that little time in a while. When you realize 20 minutes, you don't have time for anything.
You got to barrel through it.
So the fact that you're sitting there going. Like when single guys go, so where are my married people? Oh, are you? And they're doing like, I'm like, why the fuck are you talking to married people when you know I'm gonna get up there for just do your shit.
Yeah,
No talky talk. No, stop asking questions every other thing. How many people have cats? No one gives a shit. Just do the cat joke. Don't ask how many cats people are there. You're just
how many people have cats? What a fucking! I almost want to do that on stage now. How many people have cats? All right, just check it. I'm writing a book. All right, next one. How many people have hamsters? I'm really allergic to hamsters. I will say this: I do not micromanage. I don't micromanage acts because I got micromanaged as a comic, and so I don't let anyone do whatever they want.
I just start cutting time if they're doing stuff that bugs me.
Yeah.
Instead of saying anything.
Yeah.
They'll go, how much time you want me to do? Here's the deal: if you don't fucking piss on the audience, you can have 20.
Yeah.
You keep pissing on them, you're gonna do 15.
I will tell. I made Mike Bridenstine, is who I'm touring with right now. I made him take things out of his act because it was driving me nuts. Because it was like it wasn't good for his act. He was, I don't think he'll mind me saying this, but he was doing a forced like a music cue to come up stage. First of all, that is something that I've told him this now. I go, one of the biggest mistakes I made was coming up to music because it really fucking starts the show and people go fucking crazy. And now I lean on it so much when I go up. If people go, how come you didn't come up to Black Betty? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I want to really get.
It throws you when you're used to it. I used to come up to like New Edition.
And I told him, I said, Mike, get it out of your act, man. Get it out of your act. Go up clean. Go up with nothing. Go up from fucking ground zero and start talking. It's the best thing you can do for yourself. But he was leaning on this. It was he would play David Bowie's Pressure, and then he'd go, oh, is this Vanilla Ice? This isn't Vanilla Ice. Oh, that's not as bad as the one time. And then he had another joke. That was his intro every time.
Because here's the deal. The first TV show you get,
you can't do it.
You can't do that. You do a corporate event, you can't do that.
Yeah, and
you
so-
can't. There's all that, so you have to practice.
I
Like
go,
you
Mike,
play.
get it out of your act.
That's
And
why I tell guys stop asking questions, because when you have to do like tonight, you can't ask questions.
Yeah, you can't talk to the audience.
It's so
when you do an hour special, it's you speaking for 1 hour.
So stop. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, get it out of your act. And he was like, he had a really hard time. I'm talking like fucking 5 weeks that he would try and he would get scared or nervous and he'd put it back in. He'd go, still do the music cue. And then we got to Tampa and I literally was like I'm going to fucking, I was like, I actually didn't even say anything. And he went on stage and he didn't have it. And he came up to me. He was like real excited. He's like, did you see I didn't have it in? I go, dude, I fucking, and then of course I go up to Black Betty and he was like, now I know why you made me take it out, because you have this fucking Black Betty thing that you have to do every fucking time. I go, yes, it's exhausting for me to get up and like, and the only thing that is good about that is that sometimes a song will cheer me up when I'm on the road, and I'll hear it and I'll go, that's right, I'm here to party.
It's game
I'm here
time.
to have a fucking good time.
It's almost
Let's rip the
more
shirt
for
off,
you.
pound a beer, and let's start fucking being real. Like, that's what I fucking love about it. But yeah, I don't.
I micromanage the music that the show's being sat to.
That's Todd Glass shit. Todd Glass is intense about like.
It's no.
That's interesting.
Because you have a 18-year-old sound guy usually will play what they want to hear, and if you look at my crowds,
It's not that.
they're older. So when you hear, I don't. That's not the energy I want for the show.
Yeah.
So I'll have them. I go play some 80s. Some
That's smart.
80s soft rock.
I never thought of that. I never even looked into that deeply. I made the mistake one time when I was at I was working at the Boston Comedy Club, and they were like, put on some music, and I was like, put on some music? I'm putting on Richard Pryor, and then everyone fucking is. I mean, I've never fucking witnessed this, but I was like, I thought it was a good job because everyone that's sitting waiting for the show is laughing hysterically. And then Louis Schaefer, the guy who ran the club at the time, comes up to me and goes, what the fuck's wrong with you? You think I can follow Richard Pryor? Like, yeah, and he bombed. He bombed so hard. And I was like, ooh, note to self, never play Richard Pryor before a comedy show. But yeah, that's yeah. I listened to your car starting bit every day in Tampa. Because right before the show started, the car starting bit, and every night before the show, I'd listen to your bit, and I'd be like, that's, like, I guess he's coming here next week, and it would get a big laugh, and I'd be like, is this a clean crowd? What kind of material should I do with this crowd, motherfucker? And then some more would come up, and be like, all right, it's a white crowd, no one's laughing at her, but yeah, all right, I guess what?
I know we're wrapping things up, and it's a holiday season. Do you guys tip your mailman?
No, I don't even know
I do. I don't. I got shit for not tipping my driver one time. I said it. I mentioned it on a podcast, and everyone's like, "Dude, what the fuck's wrong with you?" So now I tip everyone overly to the point where it's fucking ridiculous. But no, we don't tip our mailman because we hate him.
I don't tip the mail guy because I have no mail sent to my house. That's except for random junk stuff. Yeah,
we don't tip our mailman because we have beef with him. He talked
me.
shit to my kids one time.
Yeah, everyone tells me I'm supposed to do it.
Fuck him.
And I always resist
maybe back in the 30s. You tip your milkman?
Our milkman?
Milkman,
yes. Him and our cobbler. We tip our cobbler, our milkman, and our
horseshoe maker guy?
Our horseshoe maker.
I was right there.
Our blacksmith we just stopped tipping.
I almost was going to leave a tip the other day. I was almost convinced myself to do it, and it was a different mail person.
Yeah. No.
Oh.
Like, why am I even going to waste it?
Yeah, no.
I do the what would the maid think, and so I tip the maids fucking ridiculously big, and one day I went to go tip the maid. I was leaving, and she was standing in the hallway, and I was like, I left it in the room, but I saw her there, and I was like, I want her to know me so that she knows that I gave. I don't, So I go out and give her $100, and I was like, hey, thank you very much. I go, thank you very much. She's like, oh, thank you. And I was like, yeah. And then I turn right to leave because I'm leaving, and a different maid is doing my side of the. And I'm like, motherfucker. And there's no way to go, can I see that $100 and give it to the other one? So I have to give the other one $100, and I'm like, it's $200 for a fucking joke. Jesus Christ.
I don't tip the maid if I don't have any contact with her. Like if
I tip more if I don't have contact. If they don't bother me and I don't hear vacuuming, I actually tip more the amount of less contact I have.
Oh, no.
If you're in my face constantly, I found them in my room with the do not disturb sign on.
Oh yeah, no, that's terrible.
I tip the I tipped. This is a very funny story, and I wish I had told it at the beginning of the podcast. I'm sure no one's listening now, but I
You can
checked.
save it for the next one.
Yeah, maybe I'll save it for the next one. Fuck it. Sorry, guys. You listen to a lot of funny shit. I'll save it for the next one. Guys, tune into the next one.
Yeah, see, you gotta start doing. You gotta start
I
thinking
gotta
that
start
way.
saving
You gotta start
funny
or
stories
like
for like spreading myself out. First podcast, I'm like I gotta save Joey for when the numbers are down. I gotta bring Joey back when the numbers. My dad's in town right now, and Joey called up and he goes, "Cocksucker, is Mr. K coming over? We doing a podcast?" And I was like, can how about around Easter time, Joey? would that work for you? But yeah, I tip the maid. I also clean the room. I clean the room, and if I leave what will the maid think, I'll leave that only, and I leave the tip. But I will make sure the room is pretty much spotless, so you shouldn't have to do any fucking work.
Nice.
But I got the what will the maid done back to me one time, where they put a whitewater raft in my room, and put my wife and me and. They fucking pimped my room out, and I freaked the fuck out when I saw it. I thought there was a body in there. I was with Sam Champion, and I fucking opened the door. I had a 12-pack. I dropped the 12-pack. It exploded on the ground, and I went running. And then I went, oh, my God, there's someone in my room. And then I went, wait. And then I went back in, and I saw it. I was so happy. I have it on videotape. If I leave, not only that, with $100 sitting there, if I leave that if they get that, it's the greatest feeling in the world when you see a treat left specifically for you to make you smile and laugh. I've never gotten one negative thing from to the point when I go to D.C., I stay at the Topaz, the hotel there, and last time I was there, I was with my family, and the dude, we get out of the car, we were going to a Nationals game, we get out of the car from the Nationals game, I'm with my girls, my wife, and I think someone from Travel Channel. And I get out, and he just looks at me and goes, I know who you are. And I went, oh, yeah, thanks, man. And he goes, you going to get me? I went, what? He goes, you going to get us? And I went, yeah. Like, don't know what I did. Who does he think I am? So I walk in. Everyone goes over to the restaurant bar area. And the girl goes, we're really excited to have you here, Mr. Kreischer. And I went, thank you. She goes, are you going to get us? And I was like, yeah. I go, I don't know what you're talking about. And she goes, and then I realized there's 3 people behind the thing, and they're all smiling at me, and they're like, make it good. Like, let us know if you need extra stuff. And I was like, extra stuff for what? What the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, come on. What will the maid think? Are you going to get us? And I was like, oh, holy shit. I've had so many people when I check in, and those are the ones that I never leave. Do you see the one I did this week?
Yes.
That was fucking great.
Awesome.
So much so people think that's an actual body. That's me. That's an art form. And I videotaped it, and I got fucking everything. I'm going to release that shit on living.com.
Nice.
All right. That was a great podcast, guys.
Great podcast.
Thank you
got
so
my
much.
shirt.
I got your shirt.
You're going to wear it.
You got your app. I'm going to get an app now, too.
Got the Jon Heffron app.
Jon Heffron app. You and Reap, your podcast is when?
Whenever we put it up, we try on Tuesdays, but it's heffordandreap.com, or they can find us on iTunes,
John, when's Joe Schmo?
Joe Schmo premieres January 8th on Spike TV.
And Sharon Levy is the executive producer and a beautiful woman that we all absolutely love.
We all love her.
See, I wish you keep saying that like I've said something.
You've never said anything about her, but I have my own relationship with her. She knows me.
That's
I don't even
I've
know her.
actually pitched her TV shows. I pitched her a show called Can I Kidnap Your Kid? She passed. This episode was brought to you by The Machine.